Boots to the freeway nights. We turn small grooms into launch pad flights. Yeah, this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights. We turn small rooms into launch pad flights.
But I'd never get any good ones. I never get any good. You know what I get?
What?
I was at Wrigley Stadium or Wrigley Field. You call it Wrigley Field.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm at Wrigley Field. I'm with my wife.
Mm-hmm.
This drunk dude sitting next to me, and he's like, "You know what you look like?" And I was like, "Man, this is gonna be a bad one," because he's drunk. And I was waiting. He kept having more to drink.
Mm-hmm.
By the end, he was like, "I got it." And then he looked at me.
Yeah.
He said, "Dog the Bounty Hunter."
Oh, you know I met him. I met him and his wife.
Man, that's tough, man.
I met him.
Yeah, it's a rough thing.
Yeah, it is.
That's not.
You look nowhere near like that guy.
I don't think so either.
No, negative.
I don't think so.
I liked his wife more than I liked him, though.
Yeah. That was a tough one. That was a very tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee drinking?
Yes, sir.
It's a good coffee.
It's good.
It's good from the Keurig.
It's
okay. It's okay from the Keurig.
I taste the flavor.
What'd you think about? I don't even want to say the name. Why am I the only one wearing headphones, Franklin? Because you don't want to wear them.
Well, first of all, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I'll take mine off.
I'm very comfortable right now.
Good.
I hear everything you're saying.
I just want you to be comfortable. Oh. That's the only thing that I want.
I'm very comfortable, sir.
Chicago. Take me to Chicago.
What do you want to know?
West Side.
Garfield Park. West Garfield Park.
So what's the cross streets?
We got Monroe and Costner. We got Madison and Pulaski.
Yeah.
Yeah. This particular pocket is called K-Town. I grew up at 4323 West Monroe, Chicago, Illinois, 60624. And I still remember my phone number growing up as a kid.
What was your phone number?
773-279-2293.
Bam.
Unfortunately, the building that I grew up in is no longer.
Really?
Yeah, it got burnt down in 2011, if my memory serves me correctly.
Did you ever want to buy it?
It's funny that you would ask that. Yes, I did have that thought.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, but the vacant lot's still there, obviously. But
would you buy the land and do something with it?
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
Possibly.
My brother just closed today on a home in a neighborhood we could never touch in our hometown, Lompoc, California. And in Lompoc, we were in a one-bedroom apartment, 5 people. Mm-hmm. Not a sob story, just a reality.
Yeah.
But he just bought a home on the golf course, which we couldn't sniff the golf course as kids. And we were talking about it, and it's not that he wanted to be back in the town or anything. It's a beautiful town.
Yeah.
But it was almost a nod to our parents.
That's fantastic.
You know what I mean? That's why fantastic. I thought about that with you with the the Chicago roots.
Yeah, I love my city very much still to this day. Like, I lived in Los Angeles for over 23 years. I lived in Las Vegas for 3 years. I lived in New York for 4 years, but my heart and soul belongs to Chicago forever. I still feel like a Chicagoan on the inside, you know.
I don't know if there ever was a little Franklin Vanderbilt, because I think you're like 7 foot tall.
6'5".
Exactly. I know. But as 6'5", were you born 5'10"? Because that's my size. Like, I looked like your child the first time that we met. That our picture that was in Newport Coast, and I mean, I would say you're pushing 6'6". You pushing 6'6"?
I guess when I wear boots, yeah.
Okay, all right. You had boots on.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
So take me back to young. I say young Franklin because there was no little Franklin. Chicago, West Side.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, I like that guy very much, Little Franklin. I remember Little Franklin like yesterday. April 13, 1978, my wonderful parents, Franklin Vanderbilt Sr. and Margot Vanderbilt, my parents, My mother told me that I was born in the morning. If my memory serves me correctly, I think I was born at 8:35 a.m. I think that's what she said. But a couple times she told me that I tried to arrive early than 9 months, you know. I tried to get here much sooner.
Yeah.
But yeah, April 13th. I had a lot of fun growing up, seen a lot of interesting things. My parents were very interesting people, you know.
Musician background?
Both very musically inclined.
Okay.
My father played the saxophone in high school. My mother's a great singer. I have cousins, aunts, and uncles, and my grandmother. Everyone sings and plays instruments, you know. So growing up, I was surrounded by music. I had no choice. It was around me.
Yeah.
Because I started playing in church, you know. So like that was the first time I touched the instrument. But before 5 years old, which is when I started to play drums, my father would tell me these stories. You know, during my crawling years, he would tell me that I would go to the kitchen and pull out pots and pans because they were, you know, under the sink.
Yeah.
You know, like to the left and right, if my memory serves me correctly. But anyway, I would open the cabinets, the ones closest to the floor, and pull out a couple of pots. And then I would grab something and start beating on them. And so my father would pull me away to see if I would stop it. And he said that I would cry every time he would pull me away from the pots and pans. So I'll go right back to the kitchen, pull them out, do the same thing over and over again on my mom's pots.
Really?
He'll pull me away. I'll cry. I'll go right back, pull out the pots and pans again, and I will play.
Yeah.
And from that moment, he stopped taking me away from the pots and pans. So that's when he knew that, okay, I think he's going to be a drummer. He's going to do something in music. That's when he knew. So fast forward to 5, 6 years old, I got my first Ludwig drum kit, orange, which is still one of my favorite colors to this day. And funny enough, I remember this like yesterday. I visited this drum shop. My father and my grandfather took me to a drum shop that is no longer today in Chicago. It was downtown Chicago. It was called Frank's Drum Shop. And we walked in to the music store and I saw a sea of drum sets. I've never seen so many drum sets ever in my life. I was so excited as a kid. So I'm looking around to all these different color drum sets, and most of them were like Ludwig's, which is a very iconic brand in Chicago.
Yeah.
So I'm looking around and immediately my eyes gravitate towards the orange drum kit. And I have photos of that drum set. Thanks to my aunt, Vicky, that sent me those photos years back. So I gravitated towards this orange Ludwig drum set and I never looked back.
So there's the connection point with the orange car.
Yeah.
The orange.
Yeah.
What was the orange? Why was the orange so significant?
I don't know. Like, to me, it was a color that gave me peace and comfort. It was a color that was alluring to me. Funny enough, as a kid, I used to stare at the sun. I used to try to stare at the sun. So the sun, to me, it represented the sun, energy,
Yeah.
to me. you know? So I liked it. Yeah.
And how old?
Fire.
How old were you when you realized that orange was your favorite color? I mean, it's powerful.
Yeah.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
Like when you drove up today. Well, I mean, number one, like 100 million horsepower too is pretty powerful. You know what I mean? And then you say 6'5", I say 6'7". So it's funny though, because most of the time when you talk with someone about their size, like, oh, you know, how tall are you? They'll be like, oh, I'm 6'5", and then you stand next to them, and you're like, you ain't 6'5". Yeah, you know. But you said 6'5". I mean, the jury's still out.
Okay.
But the power of orange too, like, was that? I mean, you said the sun, the fire, you know, all the things. Did you understand that as a kid, or was it just like, hey, that's bright, I love it?
Good question. I felt that intuitively I understood it. My soul understood it. I didn't know why. I couldn't put it in words, but I think I understood it deep inside.
Yeah.
I always liked the color orange because to me it represented the sun. Like I said, I used to try to look at the sun for sounds stupid, but I used to try to look at it because I was attracted to the sun.
Yeah.
Which is why I love warm weather so much.
That's why you got away from Chicago.
Yeah. That was the only reason, like the weather.
Would you say if Chicago had different weather, it would be the most populated place in the world?
Yes.
Because I think it's the coolest city in the world.
Yeah, it is the coolest city in the world.
I would say Vegas and that one in, like, living in Vegas, though. You and I lived in Vegas, same time.
Funny enough, and we never met. That's unbelievable.
It's wild because I believe we played in the same band.
Tell me about your band. Tell me about your band.
It wasn't my band. It was Michael. We said, I asked you if you knew Michael, and Michael let me do the shaker.
Too well. He was my boss for a minute.
He let me do the shaker one time, and he let me do the tambourine, but he only let me do that one time because the tambourine was so bad. I did the tambourine so incredibly horrible.
Yeah, Michael Fitzhugh. I remember him extremely well. He was a funny guy. I had fun working with him.
So you were back in Chicago. You were actually supported as a musician because. Do you think that only happens when you have musician parents? Because a lot of times, when a kid says, "I want to be a musician," a parent says, "Get a real job."
That's a great question. My parents never said that to me, but I will tell you what my dad told me. First of all, my mom was always supportive. My dad was very supportive. He was very supportive, but he warned me that he said, okay, this is a very tough business you're about to get into. And I said, I know, Dad, but I like it. I'm going to do it. I remember that like yesterday. He was very supportive. You know, he bought my first 2 drum kits.
Yeah.
You know?
And this was before you could have electronic drums, so they had to hear you playing.
Yeah, I never cared for electronic drums. I like them now for what they give you in certain situations, but growing up, I didn't want to see anything electronic.
Today, do you feel the same?
Slightly.
Slightly.
But I like what Roland drums have to offer.
Okay.
I don't have a set. I would take a set and use them for certain production things, but I'm such a purist when it comes to playing drums. Like, I have to touch drums.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's so much a part of me. I'd rather hit the drums and then change the nature or the sound of it later in the computer with things that you can use, like different modules and different programs.
Okay.
As opposed to playing electric drums straight away. But that's just me. Electric drums are not bad. It depends on what you want to use them for.
Do most drummers, like, we talked about the fraternity,
yeah.
Right? And so there's a fraternity of, you know, there's drummers and then there's you. And yeah, we just learned that at sushi. We learned that real quick. Well, the lady still, she's waiting for me to come back and tell her. I said, I'm not going to tell you who this is, but once you understand. But there's a level of drummers, some of which we were talking about at lunch. Is the feeling pretty much the same when it comes to the electronic and the feeling, or is it like that? The drummers at your level, are most of them want to have like the real drums, feel the drums as opposed to the electronic? Is that pretty common?
Well, it's not the same.
Okay.
But I would think that my peers that play on the same level, I would think that they would want to hear or hit real drums because that's what we do.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not against electric drums.
Yeah.
Because like I like them in certain situations given what you're using them for. But I mean, I'm such a drummer, I'd rather hit the drums because I like the impact of a drum. You know?
Were you mean with them right away? Because you said that you played in church, first of all, and in church you got to be a little bit peeled back because you can't, like, I don't know if you've seen the one meme that the little kid, I think it's a little kid, but the drummer goes nuts, and it's like the meme says like he didn't know he was in church, and he has a rock star solo, but it was like an Amazing Grace, off key woman singing, and the drummer's just going. Did you want to beat the hell out of him right away?
I was the same way in church because like when you love what you do, you get to a point where you're in a zone and you're feeling so much of what you're feeling and you're in your head and you are so caught up in expressing everything you want to express on the drums that you just tune your environment out and you just go for it. I had 100 moments like that growing up playing in church that they would have to stop me. I mean, I wouldn't do that now. But that's when you know it's in you, not on you. Because there's a difference between someone wanting to play the drums or they have to play the drums.
Ooh.
It's a big difference. It's in you, not on you.
Yeah.
When nothing or no one can keep you from doing something, that means it's inside of you. You got to do it.
When you feel that, like as a little kid, when you feel that happening and you feel it, it's like, but then there's the reality part of it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like you went from playing your first time in church and then touring with Lenny Kravitz, playing with Stevie Wonder, playing with Chaka Khan, working with Alan Parsons, like all these things, that didn't happen one step away from that.
Right.
So when that started to burn, what was maybe one of the first things that you experienced that you were like, that caused you to have to almost push through because it didn't happen naturally?
Like when I knew that I was going to do this professionally, is that what you're asking me?
Well, not even just professionally, but just as a kid, like sometimes you can run into something and maybe you bomb. And you're like, at that point, you have to make a decision. Do I keep doing this and continue to try and possibly be embarrassed or whatever it is and push through? Because those are tough because you had the opportunity to quit a lot more than you had to succeed. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Did you have any bombs?
Growing up?
Yeah. Or were you just Tiger Woods right off the bat?
That's a good question. A couple, I suppose. Well, okay. All right, so like here's the deal. Like when I was growing up, the drums were around because I was playing in church. I had all of this music around because my dad had a very extensive record collection that I would dive into it every day, literally every day. So I listened a lot growing up, and I absorbed a lot of things that I saw, whether it was good or bad. And then I would listen to music I absorbed a lot of the dynamics between my parents. I absorbed a lot of the dynamics between my sisters. And I would translate all of that to music. The more I found myself observing, I always took the way I felt and pushed it through the instrument. So what I'm trying to say is that when it came to bombing, I didn't think about bombing. I just thought about delivery of how I felt. If that makes any sense to you. I only thought about delivery. And growing up, because everything was a learning process, I didn't look at everything as bombing. If I had some bombing moments, that actually came a little bit later in life, because like most of the things that I was doing, it always took me somewhere. It took me to a place.
Yeah.
It was always a vehicle or a learning process. So my thought process was different. So if I bombed and didn't know it, I didn't take it that way. I took it as a lesson.
Did your parents teach you that? Because that's.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, well, and it's profound of what you're talking about, because most of the time people take that failure and it scares them. You know?
Yeah.
They try, and whether you're calling it a lesson, which is phenomenal, but were your parents consciously talking to you about that?
That's very interesting. The answer is no. No.
Was your uncle? Aunt? Grandma?
I have an uncle that I'm very close to, Robert Vanderbilt. I played a lot of music with him because growing up, even after high school, I played in quartet groups, gospel quartet groups. And we didn't talk about failure, but you knew if something went well or didn't go well, because like all you got to do is look at someone's body language or an audience of how they would respond to your art. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So my parents didn't talk to me about failure per se, or my uncles. You saw it in real time, because body language doesn't lie. Body language taught me about failure. If you said or did something that someone likes or doesn't like, you're gonna know. All you got to do is look at someone's eyes or body language.
Have you ever killed it and the audience not feel it?
Yeah.
How does that feel?
Like crap. But just because you think you did something well, you know, someone else, they're not going to think that way. It's all about delivery, I guess.
Yeah.
You know?
So the gospel quartets, you start playing in those. Is that in high school?
Yeah.
And
high school.
Do you guys form a band in high school? Like a band that's rock and roll? Or are you still playing gospel all the way through?
Great question. Now, like I said, I grew up playing in church, but there was a period that I stopped playing in church. And it was during my freshman year of high school. And that was because I started to gain more interest in jazz and blues. So I was learning more technique on the drums and rudiments and learning how to read and write music and expanding my ears beyond church music, because I didn't want to keep playing in church. I wanted to do something else. Just that simple. I was hungry for something more.
Yeah. Well, it's two different lifestyles too, right? I mean,
I guess so.
It
Yeah.
is, I mean, it's like the rock star lifestyle. I mean, a lot of times, you know, sometimes the church side is at odds. Not when I say at odds.
I know where you're going with this.
But it's a choice. It's almost a choice. I was just talking with you about Switchfoot. So
Yeah.
those guys, and Tim is a phenomenal human. He was telling me early on they actually wouldn't even go down the road of any type of gospel or Christian or anything like that because they didn't want to get pigeonholed. They wanted to do music,
Right.
but you could get pigeonholed. Were you cognizant of that like early on?
Yeah. I didn't only want to play in church because I didn't only want to play in church. I wanted to learn more.
Yeah.
I wanted to get exposed to more. You know, when I was much younger and developing during those years, I would hear the old school doctrines about playing the devil's music and all that stuff. I never played into that. I could care less about that because I didn't look at it that way. I looked at it as music. Now, music does have energy in spirits. Absolutely it does. But intuitively, I knew where I was sitting deep in my soul. So, you know, I didn't look at it as this is beautiful music, this is God's music, and this is the devil's music. That's not how I looked at it. I looked at it as music and learning and lessons and stories and journeys, not who's good and who's evil. I never looked at music that way. Now, like I said, make no mistake about it, music does carry energy.
Yeah.
Absolutely it does. But it's on you to protect your energy and what you consume. That's on you. And where your spirit sits, you can accept or reject whatever. You know, like words and sound is energy. You know, that's why it's called spelling, you know. But that's on you to protect your soul. It's on you what you consume. So like, I didn't look at church music as this is the best music and everything else is garbage. No. It's all a journey to me. And from a drummer's standpoint, it's all timing to me. So I was fascinated with all different kinds of things because there's many different kinds of musics. There's many different kinds of people. So there's many different kinds of stories.
So when you started, did you hear the drums first? Like, say, for instance, I've tried this at times where I'll like a certain instrument and I'll focus on the song and I can almost pick out just the guitar.
Yeah.
Or I could pick out the bass or I could pick out. Now, I can't play them. I'm not saying I can play them, but I can focus in and it's almost like I focus on that and then I could just hear it. For you, naturally, were you just, when you heard a song, were you naturally hearing the drums?
Yes.
Can you enjoy music without like looking at it from whether it be a critical eye, not in a bad way, but just in a performance way? You know what it's supposed to sound like. You know when the thing hits. Are you able to just sit back and enjoy music without breaking it down?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you have to be conscious of doing that?
No, because like I lead by.
You could toss those if you want, the headphones or whatever.
You can hear me, right?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you. Yeah.
Well, I always lead with the feel first when I listen to music. I don't try to analyze everything right away.
Okay.
I feel before I analyze. That's with anything. Because, I mean, your feelings and your intuition doesn't lie. So, like, when I first hear something, you either like it or you don't. You either feel it or you don't. Like, I don't nitpick it.
Well, I could tell you didn't feel that guitar. You picked up that guitar, you hit one thing with it, and I watched you. You just were like, you were so nice about it, and you just put it away.
Well,
What was the feel? What that because I experienced it in real time.
Mm-hmm.
Like this was amazing, Franklin. Like I watched you, and I watched almost like you went from boisterous, like Franklin to I'm good. Am I lying? Am I lying right now? No, I watched that happen. What was that? Because a lot of other people would just be like, "Oh, it's a guitar," and I'm not saying it's a bad guitar. But when you talk about energy or you talk about the feeling, you put your hands into place. And I knew, you could tell you're a musician when you did it. Hell, you tell you're a musician from 50 miles away. But
is it really that obvious?
you did that and then set it down. What was that?
Well, I've been so used to touching great instruments for so many years. I can either look or feel whether or not the instrument's great. No disrespect. And tuning, but it's a nice looking guitar.
It's a nice looking.
Yeah.
It looks nice. But, okay, if it was out of tune, but a nicer guitar, would you have felt different energy?
Yes.
So
Craftsmanship is everything.
So this one, the craftsmanship is
Acceptable.
It's acceptable.
But at the end of the day, no matter how bad the guitar is, it's all about the player. It's all about the player of that instrument because you can take an average drum kit and make it sound great because it's all about the approach and how you hit it, how you connect with the instrument.
Yeah.
'Cause at the end of the day, it's not about the instrument. It's about the person playing the instrument.
When did you learn that? Did you learn that in high school when you had when you did your, say your first band?
Mm-hmm.
And how do you put it together? Because it's like a sports team. Each individual has to be really good.
Yeah.
And then you got to have good energy between all of you, or else you work for a little bit of time, and then one of the people says, I'm the one, and then the band breaks up, and then us as an audience, we don't get your music anymore. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How do you choose? Because you're a great drummer, how did you choose the bassist? How did you choose the guitarist? How did you choose the lead singer and bring a band together? Because that is a tough scenario, especially as a kid.
Okay, well, good question. How did I choose? Well, funny enough, like I said, when I entered high school, I started to learn jazz and blues and different things and playing in concert band and drum and bugle, ROTC, marching band, all that stuff. The first rock song I ever played, ever in my life, was Under the Bridge by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Seriously. The way that started is I was connected with the guitar class because quite often the guitar class would need a drummer. And so I was the drummer that was sent by my band director to accompany the guitar class. And the way that band came together is it was the best players in the high school. I went to Carl Schurz High School on the north side of Chicago. And the way it came together was my teacher, Robert White at the time, the guitar class teacher, he just simply chose the best of the best in the school to form this little rock band. And the song that we learned was Red Hot Chili Peppers, Under the Bridge. And I'm friends with Chad Smith. It's funny. We met years ago.
And does he know that? Does he know that was your first?
I never told him that story. No.
Really?
Really.
So you got, they chose you. They put you together.
Yeah, they chose me. They just put it together at that time,
How important is the arts in high school? My daughter's in the arts, and most of the time it's underfunded unless you go to John Burroughs.
Exactly.
John Burroughs in L.A.
Yeah.
And John Burroughs has a $1 million budget for just their choir department.
I believe it.
And our Carlsbad, my daughter's school, they hope to have 142,000 this year.
Okay.
How important is it for the community to support the arts in high school?
It is extremely important because you got to remember when children are growing up, like they're changing every hour on the hour. They're constantly changing. And as kids get older, you need an outlet to put your energy. You know, if a child doesn't have activities, you're going to perish. That's part of the reason why there's like violence and different problems with kids growing up on the streets, because it's the lack of activities and the lack of attention. And you know, whatever their parents didn't do with them or for them, that's the outcome historically. You know, so it's very important to present these opportunities to kids, to present the arts, because like art develops character in kids. Art helps you relate to others. Art helps you exchange with each other. It becomes a part of you if you have that activity. You know?
When did you realize that it was viable and that this could be a lifestyle? I mean, let's for the amount of people that say like, "Hey, I want to be a rock star," to the person who actually is one that I'm sitting across from.
You're very kind.
The numbers aren't, but you sent me over, which was really cool. You sent me over the last email that you sent over, and you were talking about a lock method, right? And the cool thing is, as I was reading through it and as I was looking at it, it wasn't just about
drums.
It wasn't about playing an instrument. It was about life.
It's about life, exactly. But when did I realize it?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, when I started playing music, I didn't have in my head, I want to be a rock star or I want to be famous. That was the furthest thing away from my mind.
Yeah.
I wasn't looking at it that way. I played the drums because I liked it. Simple. It was in me to do. I couldn't stay away from it. Every time I came home from school, I would go straight to the basement and play the drums. My grandmother, she bought me a huge boom box. Remember those from the 80s? Of course you do.
17 D batteries up in that beast?
It was huge. All these knobs, and it was colorful, and it was just a bunch of stuff. I think it was made by Toshiba, if my memory serves me correctly. It was huge, but like I would take that radio, put it on the window or by the window and turn it on, and I would listen to what I heard and just try to copy the beat. Really? That's how I learned how to play the drums first, by ear.
Who were you listening to? Like what bands, what songs?
Steely Dan, Earth, Wind and Fire, Frankie Beverly and Mays, Led Zeppelin, Curtis Blow, Barry White, Isaac Hayes.
I heard your laugh on the way down when I said looking like Isaac Hayes. I heard your laugh because you know it's true.
Yeah.
What was the one that you were able to catch? You were able to hear it right away and play it right away?
Most times, yes.
What was the hardest one?
Good question. The hardest one? Listening to the Barry White grooves early on with the 16th note hi-hats like as a kid listening to that, I was very attracted to that feel and that sound, like Never Gonna Give You Up, Barry White, like I was like, wow, like how do they move that fast? Wow. And I would listen and try to do it. And the more I practiced, I eventually got it.
Did you have to read music? Does a musician have to understand and know how to read music, or can the person like yourself that learned from hearing it and then just playing it, can you bypass that, or at some point do you have to get to a point where you have to read it?
Good question. You don't need music. You don't need to know how to read music to play music. Don't forget, music comes from inside, the soul first. You know, think 1,000 years ago. Did they write out the things that they heard when they were playing in temples and different places? And no, they didn't write that stuff out. It came from above. It came from your soul.
Yeah.
So the answer is no. You don't have to know how to read music to play music. Not at all. Because you feel music first. It comes from here and here. You know, from above, you know, transmitted into you, and then you deliver it. That's how I look at it. You know, like music is a spiritual transmission. So you don't have to see notes on a page to play music. But reading music is a very important and fundamental thing, especially as you get in the professional area. There are some great musicians to this day that don't read music, but they deliver great music. And that's a good thing, because like I'm a strong believer in feeling music before being technical about music. You know, you don't have to know how to read music to write a hit song or to affect people with what you're doing, you know?
Well, my brother is a filmmaker.
Awesome.
Right? And
awesome.
so he taught himself by locking himself in his room,
Yeah.
getting on YouTube,
Yeah.
learned how to edit.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's one of the best storytellers I've ever experienced.
Mm-hmm.
Has worked with ESPN, Lil Wayne, X Games, all these things. And he didn't go to film school. And then I asked him, I was like, what about film school? And he was
the best actors didn't go to acting class. Same thing. You either have it or you don't. It's in you, not on you.
Can you develop it? Like if you did,
Yes, you can.
But
yeah.
Do you believe that it's born in? Like it's born in, you're born in to be a musician and then you uncover that? Or can a person say, I really want to do music, and then put themselves around the U's of the world and then become? Can you teach it, or do you have to have it in you first?
I think it's both. You can learn music, but it's like anything. It's all about how much you want to apply yourself. It's about how you see yourself and what you see yourself doing exactly. You know, you can learn anything, but there's a difference between knowing and learning. A lot of people do things and they have no idea why they're doing it, but they're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's inside them. They can't explain why they're doing what they're doing. Like, for example, my great-grandfather, I had no idea that he loved cymbals. I said, maybe, perhaps that's why I love the drums. Okay. I didn't know that. But like sometimes you got to ask the right questions within your family. You got to dig, you know, because like the answers are there. You got to find out why you do what you do, you know. But the answer is, yeah, you can learn anything, you know. You can learn how to play music and deliver it. You can deliver the same piece of music with one person that learned how to play it, but you can have another person that knows how to play music and they deliver the same piece of music, but it feels different. And there's a reason why.
Because it's in them, not on them.
It's life experience, it's how they relate to what they're hearing. Because we can hear the same piece of music but interpret it different, right?
Yeah.
Can we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so, I mean, a drummer can play this way, and then another drummer can play the same beat, but it feels totally different. Because it's not what at the end of the day, it's how you're doing something. It could be the same thing, but it feels two completely different ways. So in my opinion, that's the difference between knowing and learning. Because you can take the same piece of music and make someone cry as you deliver it, or take the same piece of music and deliver it and no one feels a thing. It's all about how you do something, you know? Nothing has to be complicated to send a message. It doesn't have to be complicated. Art doesn't have to be complicated to communicate. It's all about how the person feels after you're done delivering it, you know? So knowing and learning, two different things. The answer is yes. You can learn whatever you want to learn. But there's a difference between one person singing a song and another person singing a song, and then girls are throwing panties on the stage. It's all because of how you made them feel.
Yes.
And how you delivered it.
Well, you just delivered. I mean, what was that? Like that you just delivered. I want to tell you, my heart changed right now. Like when I say my heart changed, my heart is beating different right now.
Yeah.
I'm almost shaking after you just did that. I'm sitting here. I get the opportunity to be able the transmission when you talk about the
transmission, energy.
The transmission of energy.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, I've wondered on these things, but there's a difference. I've had many people stomp their foot. You stomped your foot and hit your leg. But that was an experience.
I'm glad you liked it.
No, it's crazy to experience that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when things started to get real for you, so you get out, you know, you're in high school, you're playing music, you're doing the things, but then the reality starts to hit when you get out of high school because you got to get a job.
Right.
You got to live.
Yeah.
I mean, did you get to live with your parents for a long, extended period of time?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so because right around the age, you know, like my parents were cool with it, like stuff like that. But there was a, you know, you got to get moving.
Oh, I'm gonna need a drink for this one.
Okay. There's you can have you're allowed to, and say thank you to George too, because George and Karen.
Okay.
George and Karen, I said, look, Franklin is going to be here. I called my buddy George. George is amazing. He's one of my neighbors, and I said, what do you drink tequila in?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't drink tequila. But I knew Cardenas Legacy. I wanted you to try it. And I said, what are you drinking it? And Karen was like, I know exactly. You got to have it in a brandy sifter. Is it a sifter? Is that what it's called?
Snifter.
Snifter.
Yes.
And she showed me 3 glasses, 2 of which were good.
I'm going to have to steal this one from you.
But this one was a rockstar glass. I said, that's Franklin. I said, that's Franklin right there. So we got to say thank you to George.
Well, thank you, George.
Yeah.
I appreciate you.
Sipping.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
It's fantastic.
I always thought that tequila was shoot it and just get sloppy.
No. Well, first of all, I'm not a huge drinker.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm a social drinker, and you know, I do my best to stay on top of my health and fitness. So a lot of drinking is not good for you to begin with, but occasionally I do enjoy great tequila and great wine. And this is pretty good, I must say.
So, and a sip.
Thank you.
When did you learn how to, like, the sipping part? Because I never knew this. When I talked to Chris, who's the founder of Cardenas Legacy, he told me, he said, it's a different type of tequila. I was like, well, what kind of, I don't drink alcohol. So what kind is it? He's like, you sip it and you enjoy. And I was like,
yes. Yeah.
I think of sipping and enjoying wine.
Same here.
But when did you learn about like tequila? Because you said a word when you and I were talking about tequila.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say it?
Yeah.
You said I'm a tequila snob.
It's a fact. It's a fact.
So you got to have some good damn tequila to become a tequila snob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got to drink a lot of it
Yeah.
to learn.
When did you learn how to sip it? Like it was a sipping and it was an experience and things like that, as opposed to, nailing it and just getting sloppy.
During my touring years with Mr. Kravitz, I had the pleasure of visiting quite a few awesome places over the years. So I was exposed to a lot of great spirits. I would say.
So over those years, 15 years total, right?
Yeah.
15 years touring with Lenny. What does a year look like?
Just flies by.
How many tour dates in a year?
Back then, for me at least, maybe 150.
150.
Maybe 150, 175. And I'm just throwing numbers around right
that's
now.
almost
But it
like-
was busy.
So that's almost one every 2 days.
Let's just say this. I remember my 30s flying by. That's all I got to say. I joined the band when I was 29, about to turn 30.
Okay.
Before you know it, I was 35.
Wow.
I don't know what it is, but back then, those years just flew by. And most of them were on the road. So that's why I would say maybe 175, 200.
How do you join a band? Because it's not like you put out a resume and get on like Indeed and put it on LinkedIn,
Right.
And be like, hey,
Right.
I'm looking for X.
Right.
How does this happen?
Well, for me at least, I've always received my drumming work or gotten calls for drumming work because of my reputation from the past. Because prior to Lenny Kravitz, I worked with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with Chaka Khan, Stanley Clarke, Stevie Wonder, Richie Kotzen. So I was already circulating in the circles.
Yeah.
And the way I met Lenny Kravitz is through a friend of mine that was friends with him for many years. And back then, I had no idea that they knew each other. I had no idea. He never said anything. I never asked about a Lenny Kravitz or anything. I was just minding my business and working on myself and doing gigs and learning how to write songs and meeting different people. Funny enough, before I got introduced to Lenny Kravitz, I was an apprentice to become an electrician. So you were asking me about, did I have some bomb moments? Is that what you asked me earlier?
Yeah.
That was a window in time.
Okay.
I was an apprentice to become an electrician, which is a very good profession.
Yeah.
Actually.
And you were drumming on the side.
I was still drumming, but I would wake up at 4:30 in the morning to go to job sites, and I was learning how to put in receptacles and wire, and I was learning all that stuff.
What was the first little? My friend Tim Story said that there's no big breaks in life. There's just a bunch of little ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
But most people think about it as the big breaks. They see you and they're like, oh wow, he went from orange drum set, seeing it, and then bang, he's touring the world. Now he's a rock star. That doesn't happen.
No, it didn't happen like that.
What
No.
was the first little break that gets you into, hey, this guy wants you to come and drum with them, or this band wants you to drum with them? What was the first one?
Well, early on, my professional career began at 15. I started playing drums for Clark Terry, Ramsey Lewis. Like, my professional career began in jazz and blues. So prior to that, I remember my band director sending me off to this jazz group. They wanted a drummer, and so he felt I was good enough to play with these older guys. Kimo Williams. I don't know if he's still around these days, but these were Chicago jazz legends at the time. So he sent me to play this 3-hour gig at a library in Chicago. So he didn't mention any money. So my father dropped me off. I set up everything and I played. He came back 4 hours later to pick me up. At the end of that job, I was handed a white envelope with, I think it was like maybe $200 or $250, and I'm 15. And so I opened the envelope in the car and pulled out the money. It was 2 $100 bills. And I said, Dad, this is what I want to do. So at 15, you know, my first professional gig paid me $200.
Wow. Then
You know?
when you start playing blues and jazz, that's in a different type of club too.
Yeah.
You're 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get into the clubs? Because you already have a beard at this time?
No.
You didn't?
No.
Did you have that little
Definitely
peach
not.
fuzz? Did you have the little peach fuzz right in the middle of your chin that you should shave off?
I did
You
not.
know that one. You didn't?
I did not.
Okay.
No. Let's just say I was surrounded by very interesting people growing up.
Okay.
You know, see, back then, for me in the 90s, my teachers in high school were very special people. They were Italians and Irish. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So I had special privileges and special introductions from certain people that would pull me into the clubs and let me do my thing. They would just say, don't come near the bar. So it's this one guy like, hey, bud, come here. You're a great kid. Just stand over here. And you're like, when you're ready to play, just go over there. Don't come over here. Just stay over there. You know, you're good, you're good. You know? I think you know what I'm trying to say.
Well, we had time in Chicago. And
Yeah.
I learned about Chicago. I got a rude awakening because I had a guy named Joey.
Mm-hmm.
And I had met him in Vegas. And he comes in from Chicago. And when we opened in Chicago, we opened on North Milwaukee and Damon, right in the Six Corners.
My old stomping grounds.
You know where like Peace Pizza is,
Yeah.
and it was right next door to Peace Pizza.
Yeah.
So
my
we
old
opened,
neighborhood.
We opened there, and the day before we were about to open, well, the gas wasn't on,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, well, so I called the gas company. No big deal. Call the gas company. They come out and do it, whatever. And I knew it was going to cost more because it was going to be, you know, it's an expedited situation.
Yeah.
Well, I get on the phone with the lady. She said it's going to be 21 days. I said it can't be 21 days. We're opening tomorrow. So I called Joey.
Yeah.
He said, all right, what I want you to do
Mm-hmm.
is I want you to go back inside he said, go outside, find where the gas gauge is. I said, okay, it's out back. He said, I want you to step back in.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to close the door.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to go out back.
Yeah.
He said, don't go out back for at least 5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone asks, you don't know nothing. 3 hours later,
Mm-hmm.
gas was on.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was good.
So you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah. So, you know, for me back then, it was a very funny time, but fun.
Yes.
You know, because like without realizing it, it's like some of my teachers had certain affiliations and I didn't think anything of it.
It's just family. It's just
That's
family.
how I looked at it.
It's just family.
You know, there's an area in downtown Los Angeles called the Gold Coast. And all throughout that area, it's historically it was ran by certain people.
Uh-huh. In LA or Chicago?
Chicago,
the Gold Coast.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It's a pocket. Walton, Rush Street. That area was historically ran by certain people, and so I was able to get into the clubs there because, like, to them, I was just a drummer kid, and my band director, Cardenas, at the time, rest in peace. He exposed me to a lot. He showed me a lot of music, and I met all of his friends, and it was just an incredible time. So he will send me to these certain places, like go down there and ask for Carmine, and like he'll let you in. I'm like, okay. I just had my stick bag and I just showed up. I didn't think nothing of it, you know?
Do you travel with your drums? Or do they have a drum set there?
For many years, I would travel with my drums.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it say I've heard it before. Again, I don't play instruments, but if a person's guitar is almost like it's like a personal thing. Is that the way that the drums are too to a drummer?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So when you're in the jazz clubs, the blues clubs, you're doing that. What's the next little break?
Okay. So after I got paid from the library gig, $200.
You were a millionaire at that time.
Yeah, I like to think so. But it was incredible. Like, it wasn't about the money. I just wanted to play.
Yeah.
So after that, I became a part of a program that's still going on till this day. It's called the Ravinia Jazz Mentors Program. So I was a part of that. And so that's how I got exposed to Ramsey Lewis and Clark Terry and Ray Brown, all these big-time jazz people. So I played on my first big stage in Ravinia Park in Highland Park, Illinois, if you ever heard of that venue. So that's where my professional career began.
How many people did you play to?
I think Ravinia holds about 3,000 people.
What? How old were
4,000.
you? How old were you?
16.
16. You're playing to 3,000 or 4,000 people.
16, 17, 18. Yeah.
For the people who don't understand that too, when you get to 3,000 or 4,000, it's hard to see the back of the people. Like when you look out, there's a sea of people.
Yeah.
It's hard to see the back of the crowd. Like if you're in 500, you see the back of the crowd.
Right.
You're in 1,000.
Yeah.
You see the back of the crowd.
Yeah.
When you get 3, 4, you don't see the back of the crowd.
Right.
It's just a sea.
Mm-hmm.
At 16 years old?
Yeah, 16, 17, 18. Yeah.
Were you apprehensive? Or was it more of a situation of like the heart beating saying, I'm where I'm supposed to be?
I am where I'm supposed to be, and I am where I want to be. And it was just the beginning, and I knew that then.
How many sticks you break that first time?
Probably a pair then.
Is there a little bit of anxiety when you break the first time, when you're going bah, 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 and you break, thinking, how do I get to another one?
No, because I had my stick bag.
Okay, so this is just as a drummer, this is just a normal thing. Bam, I break it. Okay, cool. I'm in beat. I just pick up another one and I go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to get comfortable with breaking one and moving on? Because that's an art in itself.
I don't know. I've never answered a question like that, but to me, even in my earlier years, it just kind of felt natural. Like I said, drums were something that I've always played. I've always played the drums. Funny enough, if I didn't take drumming as far as I took it, I probably would have ended up a construction worker, which is how I dabbled in electrician work. I probably would have ended up a construction worker or an architect.
You can make a beat out of anything too. Am I correct? Like you can. I mean, you just did it with your foot. You did it with your foot, and you slapped. That didn't sound the same. You didn't feel anything when I did that, did you? No, not at all. You didn't feel. I'm glad that. Yeah, that was very definitive. You could have at least been like, I felt a little bit. You were like, no. I didn't want it that damn fast.
But I feel your spirit.
Okay,
though.
good. I'm glad that you feel my spirit. But I mean, were you the kid always like hitting, and you could use your ring because you got a really cool ring on. You could use your ring to make a different sound on the table, and you were bah, 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 bah. Were you always doing that?
Yes.
Do you do it now?
No. In school, I did. I used to get in trouble. Did you lose a
little kid or what, Franklin?
You know what? Interesting that you would say that. I want to say no, I didn't lose that little kid, but there were certain times and certain moments in my life that I had to put that kid asleep for certain reasons and events in my life.
What was the reasons?
Ups and downs.
Okay.
Maybe business things or relationship things or life experiences, obstacles, challenges. That little kid's still there.
Yeah. What does he like to do?
What does he like to do? Play drums.
Rock and roll?
Yeah, and talk to people.
Yeah.
I've always been a bit of a people person. I like talking to people.
I wouldn't say a bit.
No?
I would say all.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The way that you made that lady feel at sushi was, it was unreal. You have an uncanny way of, because you're larger than life. I mean, you're larger than life because you're, 6'10". You're going to continue to grow throughout this interview, but you have an uncanny way of being able to make someone else shine. Like you did that with the lady at sushi today, the waitress.
Well, I don't know. Like when I speak with people, I guess I have a tendency to feel what's inside of them before they even open their mouths first. Because we're all spiritual beings. Like this is just a suit.
Mm-hmm.
And who we really are is not this body. So I don't know. Like I feel the energy of a person first.
Mm-hmm.
And like there's lots of people that like talking to me and they could be a total stranger, but like if they come up to me, like I'll talk to them. You lead with respect, I give you respect back. But I feel the person first before you say words.
How do you feel? How does it feel on the other side of it? Because I mean, there's times where you're poked at and prodded at, and people just want to get a picture with you. People just want to that part. How do you manage that? Because as a kid, all you wanted to do was drum. Then you start going through, the band director has a couple people in the family and helps you get into some places, and then you play for 3,000-4,000. You start to understand like this is going to be, but you got to understand the things that come with this too.
Yeah.
Now, you don't get to have a normal life. You don't get to, like when you're on the road and you're touring or you're doing the things that you're doing, it's not like you just walk into a place and you don't get attention. Like, how did you learn how to manage that?
I've always been a person that has had a bunch of energy, but the way I manage it is just, I just be calm and be myself. Like, I don't expect people to know who I am, but if someone is drawn to me, I'm more than happy to speak with them.
Mm-hmm.
But I manage it just by being calm and kind. I don't have a manual about that. I don't know. I just be myself and I do my best to make people feel better than the way that they felt before, I guess.
And you do it masterfully. Most
I don't know. I respond to what I'm.
You respond to
given.
the energy that's given. Okay.
I respond to the energy given.
Okay.
And I'm just, I don't know. I'll talk to a perfect stranger if you got something to say to me, But I don't believe in people being strangers though, because we all come from someplace else, and we're not, like I said before, we're not this. We are really who we are inside this body. So if you're really looking at that, we're all recognizable. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We're all recognizable if you're really looking at a person. Because a lot of people talk to people, but you're not really looking at them. Like, you can look at somebody, but you're not really looking at them.
Yeah.
But if you're really looking at a person and you pause and feel what's coming out of that person, you really get to know a person. Like, you don't have to speak to a person to learn someone. You can learn a lot about a person without saying a word, because you can communicate without saying a word. Like it's what's coming out of you and you don't even realize it, you know? So like, I feel that's who we really are. If you take the time to absorb a person, because there's more than one way to look at a person, like besides looking at their eyes, you know, because you can look at a person's eyes and you can feel what's coming out of that eyes and you don't have to say a thing.
Yeah.
You know, but like I feel that's who we really are, not the way we dress or my glasses, you know.
And it's funny because I think it's funny with the glasses part, because when we were talking at first, you were like, should I wear them? Should I not? Either way is good.
I like these glasses.
I like these glasses.
You know what? I've had these glasses for a while, but they kind of set because I wasn't sure if they were me. But
these are good.
You like them?
These are really good. Okay. This shape is phenomenal. It's really, really, really cool. I love
Thanks.
them. I love them. They're very, very good.
It took a minute to get used to them, but
no, they're fitting. Now, most when we talk about high level artists, whether it be comedians, musicians, or artists, there seems to be at the core, and it's there seems to be almost a bit of pain that either causes them to want someone in the comedic side. They have a pain that they want people to laugh, to be able to heal that because they felt something or they feel something, and then they go through. Like, I was just watching a show the other day, and they were critiquing a new comic, and they were like, your life is too good for you to do comedy. And then I look at...
I love comedians, by the way. I'm friends with plenty of comedians. Comedians are in pain.
That art is tremendous.
Yeah.
Is that true in the music side also?
It can be.
Do you find it most of the time? As far as that there's a pain that they're driving from to deliver, and that's that healing resonation, or is that?
Are you asking me? Do you have to be in pain to create?
I don't know if you have to. You have to be, but do you find that a lot of people are? Do you find when you're, say, like with your creation, say like everybody's talking about love. Your single, I felt it. I was on the road, like you sent it to me, and thank you. I got it before anybody, like I know other people got to listen to it, but I got to listen to the whole entire album in its entirety. And that was a double whatever. I said the whole entire in its entirety. That was a silly thing to say. But I remember getting to the crosswalk, and everybody's talking about love came on, and I could feel that. Did that come from any bit of pain that you had felt?
Yeah.
Did your passion for music, did you drive it from, did it derive from feeling pain as a kid or as growing up or anything like that?
That song didn't necessarily come from like total pain or anything. There was some pain. It wasn't from my childhood. It was from different relationships that I had that I started to notice a pattern. Like, okay, I met this girl that I really like a lot. Then I met another girl that I really liked a lot. Then I met another girl that I really loved. And then, either I hurt her or she hurt me, or just multiple stories of love or affection. So I just started to think and look back, so like, what is love? Because like you go through life learning what love really is. Can you see love? Can you touch it? How does love look? but you always feel it. Right? Does love have a look? Does it? Or can it? I guess love can look any way you want it to look, I guess, but love is always something that you feel, or maybe it's action, you know, how you deal with someone or treat someone because of how you feel about them. Can you see love? Can you touch love? Okay, touching material things. You can love a material thing, but can it love you back? Am I making sense?
Yeah.
But you always feel love. You give it and receive it. You feel it. How does it look? Can you touch it? So at the time when I was analyzing my own experiences with relationships and stuff and different things, you know, material things can't love you back. Or can it? You tell me. You can love a car.
Ain't gonna love you back.
It ain't gonna love you back.
We name them though.
We name them. Yeah.
What'd you name your car?
The Orange Monster. I never gave it like a name.
I never gave. I don't think I've ever named a car. I remember I said I had a white car and I called it Space Ghost.
Yeah.
And then my friend was like, "Oh, it's just like Wonder Woman's invisible jet," and I was like, "No,
Yeah.
it's not."
Yeah.
I just stopped it immediately.
Yeah. Yeah. But like you always feel love. You give love and receive love.
What did it look like for you growing up? Because the reason why I asked this is because for me, for so long, what love
Actions.
well. I always thought that love was fighting and then making up just because
Well,
my
it's that
parents
too.
did that, right?
Yes, that
and
too.
so, and I have a Mexican father, and you know, he was very like what he called passionate. I called it angry. And they would fight and then they'd make up, and I was like,
Right.
"Oh, that's love."
Right.
And then when I connected with my wife, I almost broke up with my wife because I called my brother and I said, "We got a challenge." He said, "What's the challenge?" I said, "We don't fight." And he said, "It's okay to be okay." And that was the first time in my life that I understood that love could be peaceful.
Yes.
What was your vision of love when you were growing up?
Affection. My parents hugged me a lot.
Mm.
Good food. I guess that's why I'm a foodie now.
Yeah.
How you guide someone or the attention that you give someone, nurturing someone, looking after someone. Discipline. I feel that discipline, even to yourself, is a form of love. Because if you practice good discipline or if you're shown good examples of discipline, I feel that that's love as well. Love and respect. Education, instilling education in someone. Because like if no one takes the time to teach you anything, I don't think they love you. Or if someone takes the time to give you bad information, they definitely don't love you or respect you. So when you're giving education or you're giving guidance or giving affection, when you're giving, it's action, right? Giving, that's a form of love. You know?
What were some of the discipline parts that were hard at the time that you thank God for now when you were growing up?
There's a particular moment that I remember growing up. I believe I was in the 3rd or 4th grade. I was a bit of a class clown for a while. And like growing up, when I was in grade school, I didn't figure out why the girls would come to me and like they'll hit me and then they'll run. I'm like, why are they doing that? But like they'll keep doing it. keep doing it. And then like I would play with them, and until I realized, oh, okay, they like me, they want to have fun. So that was cool. So like I would play into it, have fun with them. And it got to a point where whatever I was doing, it got to the point where I started to entertain the class, the overall class. And then the teacher picked up on this, and it started to distract the class from the lessons. And little did I realize that my teacher was writing down every time I did this, until one day my mother came up to the school, and she had a belt in her hand. And she walked up to me, and she pulled me out of my seat and took me to the front of the class, and she whipped me in front of the class. And she told me to stop being a class clown and pay attention and do your lessons. And that was the last time I did that.
Just one time.
It was one time.
Just one time.
Yeah. It was embarrassing.
Take me back to 16, 18 years old in front of 3,000 to 4,000. Once you experience that, then you go back to a smaller venue.
Yeah.
Right? It's kind of like I was talking to a friend the other day where if you experience like a sporting event and you're on the floor, and then someone calls you and says, "Hey, I got tickets."
Yeah.
Now you're asking where they at. You know what I'm saying? Like if you experienced the floor and then they called you and said, "Hey, I got the tickets," and they're in the rafters, you're like, "Nah, I'll watch it on TV because I experienced the floor." Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You seem like a better person than me by the look on your face. Because like in my the reason why I say it is because like once I experienced that part, it's hard to go backwards, right? Mm-hmm. Was it tougher once you experienced the 3,000-4,000 to go back into like 50, 100 and play there?
Not
or
at all.
Did you prefer that? Did you prefer a smaller intimate, or did you prefer a larger?
I give the same performance whether it's 20 people or 20,000 people.
That's why you're a better person than me.
No, I'm not a better person than you. Nah.
So when that 4,000, 4,000, what was the next gig that you did right afterwards? Do you remember?
To think back that far, I don't remember 100% because everything was the same to me. I gave everything 100%.
Just went at it.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the next little break after that? Because you had a little break there. You get the opportunity to be able to play in front of that many. Obviously that's a taste. That's a taste.
Yeah,
now
it was a great taste.
Now you want to go get it.
Oh
again.
yeah. It was a wrap for me.
What's the next one?
After that, I went to college to study with Professor Johnny Lee Lane, to study percussion. Mm-hmm. And I went to school for like a year or so of college, ran out of money. Great experiences. I learned a lot, and I'm still close with my professor to this day. I'm glad he's still with us, first of all. God bless him. He's a great person, Professor Johnny Lee Lane. Uh-huh. So I learned more percussion skills with him. I went to Eastern Illinois University, and during the time I was studying with Professor Lane, I also auditioned for the top jazz combo of my college at the time. And I auditioned without any expectations because I was a freshman in college, but sure enough, the next day, I left my dorm room going to the music building. As soon as I walked in, "Congratulations, Franklin." I'm like, "Congratulations about what?" Like, I'm new here. And then every time I walked further, "Congratulations, Franklin." Like, about what? And they pointed, "Look over there." So I'm reading the wall, top jazz combo 1, whatever you called it at the time. Jazz combo 1. And they were naming the people that made it. Drums, Franklin Vanderbilt. Oh, okay. So I played in the top jazz combo as a freshman in my college year there. So like that was the next big thing for me. That was great. I learned a lot. And then, like I said, I ran out of money. And then I had to leave university. And I went back home to live with my mom temporarily. Because back then, you know, my parents weren't together anymore. My parents were married, I believe, 19 or 20 years at the time. And then when my parents divorced, I lived with my dad. I still saw my mom and my sisters, of course, but when my parents divorced, I wanted to live with my father.
Why?
I've always been close with my parents, but I've always had a special bond with my father. We spent a lot of time together. I love my mom dearly. I love my dad dearly. But like, it's too much to explain right now, but like back then I just couldn't.
Time?
Back then I just couldn't be without my dad because like I didn't want to see my parents split apart. I didn't want to see that then.
What age were you?
I think the first time it happened, I believe I was 10. And I didn't understand everything then, why it was happening. It was none of my business. It was between my parents.
Yeah.
You know, now that I'm older, I respect that. You know, but I just couldn't imagine my parents not being together. Yeah. Because it affected me and my sisters tremendously. So the first time they split apart, I stayed with my mom. It just wasn't the same. It was like we need dad back here. I don't know what's going on, but you guys should fix it. You know, that's what I'm thinking, you know. And then he came back. Everything was cool. Then everything fell apart again. Then I said, okay, no, I'm not doing this again. Whatever happens, I'm leaving with my dad. I can't be without my dad, you know. And I'm very grateful that I still have my parents. Yeah. To this day. They're still with me, you know.
Was it tough as a boy? Because we went through it. My parents split up 6th grade, so like 12. But they stayed together. They stayed married, but they split up. And I remember the first time a guy tried to holler at my mom.
See, I was trying to avoid that conversation. But
you ain't avoiding nothing today. We had sushi together.
I remember all of that.
Okay.
Okay.
So this was it, but this was a tough thing. And I mean, I was in 6th grade. I was a young kid, but my brother's in 8th and my other brother's in 10th. Yeah. So my brother in 8th is probably 13 years old, 13, 14 years old.
Yeah.
My other brother is 16 years old.
Okay.
The guy that tried to holler at my mom, I think he was probably 21 or 22.
Yeah. Yeah.
My brothers in 8th grade and 10th grade went to that guy's work. Mm-hmm. He never hollered at my mom again.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. See, that's the part I did not want to see.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
nobody talks
I tried
about
to avoid it, but okay, well, here you go. You know, like I didn't want to see my mother dating other people. I just couldn't compute that. I just couldn't comprehend that. I just couldn't. So after seeing all of that crap, I said no. But on the other hand, my dad was dating other girls too.
Was it different? Was it different? Because that was a weird thing too. Because I remember the first time seeing my dad, like, you know, and again, there was when they were split up and things like that. But it was still really weird. Although I had a different disposition towards a boy hollering at my mom than a girl hollering at my dad.
If you are a boy protective of your mother and sisters, of course you're going to be that way. You were correct to be that way. Because, you know, you're a boy. That's you know, that's what you want at that age, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So to see all of that, I was like, oh, hell no. Like, I can't deal with this.
Are you the baby in the family? Where are you at?
No, I'm the second oldest.
Second oldest.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of responsibility too in that scenario.
Yeah, and I was the only boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to become the man of the house right away.
Yeah.
Was that a lot of pressure?
It wasn't that it was pressure. I just couldn't fully do my job the way I should have, or the way they should have allowed me to do my job.
How's that?
Well, with all due respect to all women on this planet, when women are in their teens, you know, things change. And
What things change, man?
well,
Franklin?
I mean,
Well, I got a 17-year-old daughter. I have no idea about this right now.
well, I mean, I feel that when specifically women are in their teen years, that they have a tendency to advance quicker than men mentally.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen it time and time again. So like they get to a point where they feel like, we're grown. You can't tell us what to do. I want to do this, and this is what it's going to be. So I couldn't always say, hey, I don't think he's a good guy to date. I don't think you should do that. I don't think he's that cool, because, you know men, boys know boys.
Yeah.
And when it comes to a lady, if a woman wants to do something, she's going to do it, period. There's only so much you can say, because she's going to make a decision to do it, whether she's whatever age, you know. If she wants to do it, she's going to do it. So looking back so long ago, I remember dealing with different situations where I couldn't talk my sisters out of doing certain things. If they wanted to go and date that guy, they would date that guy.
Mm. How'd you manage this? Because, I mean, like, number one, you kind of become the man of the house at an earlier age than most people do.
Yeah.
And then you go into your professional career very early. At 15 years old, I mean, you're doing what grown folks are doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you're having to navigate those things, right? So you get you're in college. You get the jazz. That's a jazz band. Am I correct? The jazz group that you do. You go back home. Does rock and roll start then?
Good question. Good question. Rock and roll started for me after college. Now, mind you, I was still playing gospel music with my uncle. I have an uncle that has a quartet group.
Okay.
And the name of that group was the Foundation of Souls. His name is Robert Vanderbilt.
The Foundation of Souls.
Yes.
And where would they play? Where would you guys play?
We played around Chicago. We played in certain places in the South, and we played in Detroit.
Well, but what was it for? Was it festival kind of things, or was it
like gospel festivals?
A gospel
church
festival.
festivals.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
a lot of fans in the
exactly,
audience. Yeah.
exactly.
A lot of fans.
You know,
people dancing around right next to it. Yeah.
A lot of girls screaming for my uncle.
Catching the Holy Ghost.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Up and down the aisle. While you were drumming, did you ever catch the Holy Ghost? Did you ever catch the Holy Ghost while you were drumming?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And you just took it out on the drums?
Just yeah.
Yes. I always wanted. I remember, I mean, I've had spiritual experiences, you know, I've had those things, but I always wanted the one where it was like the run in place and then run up and back. Have you caught the Holy Ghost that way?
Well, I've never run in place nowhere.
Okay.
Running up and down a church aisle. I'm not going to do anything like that. No, but I've seen it.
Dude, do you really believe? Okay, this is just opinion, but do you really believe they're catching the Holy Ghost, or are they catching the music and the environment that's happening?
See, now you're asking me an interesting question.
All right.
Oh, wow. Now, that could be a controversial answer.
I promise I won't tell anyone. It'll just be between you and I. It'll just be between you and I. That's
really?
Yeah.
Do I believe that they are really catching the Holy Ghost? Look, a lot of people go through a lot of different things, and life can really apply lots of pressure. So when people go to church, they need a release. And it all goes back to what I said about how you make people feel, given what the pastor or the preacher or the minister, the priest, what have you, given how he delivers a message to the congregation, it affects the person emotionally. So you can classify that as the Holy Spirit, because we're all human. We all need a release. So when someone catches the Holy Spirit, they need to release all of the pressure and the trials and the tribulations that they go through every day, and they need an outlet to let go and let God. So
are you running for president right now? vote for Franklin in the
one job I don't want.
2028 election. Okay, so what it feels like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what it feels like is you have this stirring in you, right? From when you're a kid, you know that this is happening. You start to get little tastes of it.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this gear, this freedom that's on its way that you're looking for that you hadn't really experienced yet. And even through the gospel stuff, things like that, did you experience that freedom when you experienced rock and roll?
Yes, I did. That's a good question. I did.
When was the first taste of that?
Of rock and roll?
Because the 3-4,000
Yeah.
is still in the gospel or in the jazz realm, jazz blues. I mean, respect for that.
Yeah.
Jazz and blues is not rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's got a feeling, but it's a different feeling.
Mm-hmm.
You got the gospel side that's always been a bass, and you're doing that. You're doing the festivals with your uncle and doing the things, and they're catching the Holy Ghost for your uncle. That's what you said.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't throwing panties yet, but
Well,
they were wanting
almost.
to. They were wanting to.
They loved my uncle. I was like, wow, look at this.
Look at this.
It's like my uncle, like he was singing these songs, so hard to get along. And then he'll hit these high notes. And then these girls will go crazy. All these church bras, they'll like come off. Like that's how I saw it, but like they loved it when my uncle would do that, It was very comical for me. But like I'm on the drums watching this stuff like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And they would catch the Holy Spirit because of how my uncle made them feel.
So take me to the next little
The
break.
rock and roll. When did that come into place?
Well, does the rock and roll happen right after that, or is there another level of gospel?
After that, actually.
After that.
Now, I'm making myself sound old. In 1990...
You're young, man. You're young. You said 78 earlier. I'm older than you, so you have to respect me. You know what I mean? I'm your elder.
Yeah. Respect.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
So, 1997, I was introduced to someone by the name of Greg Parker. And he is the founder of the Chicago Blues Museum. And I don't know what it was. When I met him, it was like just looking at him, everything that was inside his brain, it was just downloaded. It's like from the first moment I met him, I just understood him, which is why he's my godfather still to this day.
Yeah.
So he was the most funniest and charismatic person I ever met back then. He was hilarious, but I could tell that he experienced a lot and had a lot to say and show me at the time. So when I shook his hand, nice to meet you, I was like, this guy is cool. It's like what is it about this guy that's so funny? But like I just knew that I could learn a lot. So we hit it off right away. I believe I was, 19, 20. And so he put together this all-star band of these wonderful musicians in Chicago and named it the Chicago Blues Museum All-Stars. I became the drummer, and at the time, I was working with some other musicians that were older than me that took me under their wing in the Gold Coast and Rush Street in the bars. So like I already knew a couple of the guys, but I ended up meeting Greg Parker because another friend of mine introduced me to him. So we formed this group and he started teaching me more about rock because he had this band in London when he lived in Europe many years ago. This band, rock band, named Oz at the time. So he started showing me all his archives of his rock and roll days and all these chicks hanging around him. He's smoking weed and he's showing me his drummer at the time and all these pictures and just giving me a huge history lesson of where he came from. So I was fascinated by that. So every time I would go visit him and his daughter and his wife, I would spend days there, literally days. I would spend so much time there to the point where my mom, like she would beat me. I had a beeper then. She would beat me, she would ask me, "Where are you? Why haven't you come home?"
Was it a digital pager or was it just the number?
Just the number.
Just the number.
Motorola.
Yes.
Yep.
Because you would have to call her back.
Exactly.
Would you do it on a payphone? Because you didn't have a cell phone, or she would have called
Not
a cell
yet.
phone.
Eventually,
So
I
you
ended
would
up
do
with
Did you do 1-800-COLLECT?
No.
You didn't?
Eventually, I ended up with a cell phone. Eventually.
Yeah, but at that time, did you have to get on a payphone?
Yeah, to call her back.
Yeah, you had to get on the pay. Did you always have change on you?
Not all the time.
You didn't?
No.
How'd you call her then? Did you call 1-800-COLLECT?
Sometimes I didn't call back.
Oh, you
And my
didn't?
mom would get upset that I didn't call her back.
Okay.
Mom, I love you. I'm sorry I didn't call you back during those days, but I'm fine. But I mean, I was doing a multitude of things.
Yeah.
But I would spend so much time there learning and hanging out, to the point where like she would call me and say, "Where have you been? Why aren't you coming home?" And I'm like, "I'm okay, Mom. I'm just hanging out."
So that's 97.
Yeah,
So 2 years later, you end up in Vegas.
correct.
You go in 99.
Yeah, but let me finish with the
Yeah.
Chicago Blues Museum, Greg Parker. So to answer your question, how rock and roll really came to play with me, it's because of Greg Parker.
Mm.
So one afternoon, I was invited to this jazz thing, and I had to play jazz. It was like a wine and cheese event, and I had this girlfriend, and she came with me, and I was really enjoying the environment because, like, I was really enjoying the classiness of it because, like, they wanted me to play in the band, and I got paid, but they had different types of wines and cheese, and I enjoyed the environment.
Yeah.
And so when I was finished, I had to report to the Chicago Blues Museum at the time because we had a parade to do, if I remember correctly, the Bud Billiken Parade. And I remember that I was a little late getting there because we all had to line up and get prepared and get into the thing, the parade line to turn the corner. And I made it just in the nick of time, because I almost missed it, but I got there just in time. And so when I arrived, Greg was a little upset because I was a little late. He said, "Where the F you been? Blah, 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 blah." And I told him I had a gig, I had to play, I had to play for this event, jazz, blah, blah, blah. And I don't want to curse on here.
You can curse.
But here's what he said, and I quote. It was the funniest thing ever. He said to me, "You need to stop playing this jazz shit and start playing rock and roll. I've been showing you the rock and roll. You're a rock drummer. You don't even realize it. You're a rock drummer. Stop playing this jazz shit. Now get in the car." And I laughed so hard. It was the funniest thing ever. So he was showing me all different types of rock and roll at the time. And so I always had this energy I enjoyed putting out on the drums, not realizing that I'm heading in that rock and roll direction. Because I always enjoyed music in general, but like that's what took off for me at the time. But that's what he said to me. And I love jazz. I still play jazz to this day. I love all music. All music. I'm a drummer. So as far as I'm concerned, I think a drummer should play as many styles as possible. You know, because like it's timekeeping for the drummer. And depending on how good the drummer is, he'll make or break the situation. So I feel that all drummers should learn multiple genres. You know? So when he said that, which was the funniest thing ever, I just started to really get more into rock and roll. Not only because I liked it, it's because my energy went there more than anything.
Was it that freedom? Was it because you laughed?
The freedom.
Like when I said that, it was amazing because your countenance kind of changed. Like you sat different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I said the freedom part, so you experienced that.
Yeah.
You experienced it.
Yeah.
Did you then start seeking out more opportunity to be able to play rock and roll?
Yeah, I did.
What was the next progression?
Well, eventually I moved out of Chicago.
Yeah.
Because I met a piano player by the name of Galib Galab.
Was that his government name?
No.
No, he made that up.
No, but he was a Vegas musician.
Okay, but you got
originally from Chicago.
But that can't be.
He was Muslim.
It can't be on your. It can't be on your birth certificate. Could it?
No, that was not his birth
That's an amazing name.
Yeah, tell me about it. He was an amazing guy. Galib Galab.
Galib Galab. You can't forget that.
You can't forget that. No, it's hard to forget. He was Muslim. He converted to Islam.
Got it.
So that was the name that...
Piano player.
Piano player.
Do you call it a piano player or you call it key player?
Piano.
Piano.
Player, yeah.
Do piano players play the keys? Like the electric? Does it transfer over and play electric or do they always want to play on the actual piano?
That's a good question. Well, the keyboard definitely feels different than a piano.
What's your take on the keytar? Yes. You think it's going to make a comeback?
I don't think it's ever left, as far as I'm concerned.
Can you play the keytar?
No.
I think that keytar is a slept-on instrument.
Yeah. There's a piano player by the name of George Duke. He's left us, unfortunately, years back. He played the keytar as well.
I've been talking to my friend Damian Horn.
Yeah.
Amazing musician.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him if he could play the keytar. Like, you know, he plays the guitar. But I think the keytar in every band,
yeah,
that would just take it to the next level.
I agree.
Okay, so you move out of Chicago. Where do you move to right away?
Las Vegas. The Budget Suites.
Oh, which Budget Suites? On Koval?
No, there's another one. Is that Tropicana?
Tropicana and Koval, yeah.
That's Koval?
Koval is right behind the MGM.
It was west of the Strip.
Okay.
But I think Tropicana that was.
Tropicana and on the west. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So Budget Suites.
Yeah.
Big time.
Big time.
You had made it.
Mm-hmm.
You had made it getting to Vegas at that time. 99. Did you get there in 99?
Yes. August 1999.
It was changing. I got there in January of 99.
My mom was terrified that I was
she
leaving.
should be.
And I'm like, Mom, it's okay. I'm going to be fine.
I made the big time. I'm going to the Budget Suites.
Yeah, $750 a week. That's where it started. He wanted to pay me $750 a week.
Okay. How much was the budget suites at that time? A week?
Not super expensive.
How much
Maybe
you think?
200 a week.
So 200. So you had $500 a week then, extra.
Yeah, but listen to this. When I arrived, 2 weeks into working with him, the pay doubled.
Whoa.
Yeah,
So you were balling.
1,500. I was 21 years old,
Bang.
so I was making 1,500 a week. I'm
And
like,
200 a week at the budget suite.
yeah, something like that.
There we go.
I'm like, okay, this is pretty interesting. So
Where were you guys playing?
Caesars, Harrah's, the Rio.
Were you playing in the Carnival Court?
At Rio.
No, Harris had a Carnival Court outside, like a outside venue.
I was playing inside.
You were okay. So you
Yeah.
were big time.
Yeah, inside.
Okay.
So yeah, Harrah's, Caesars, Rio,
Got it.
and some private things here and there.
Okay.
So yeah, things got busy, and I thought this was something that was going to last maybe a few months, but a few months turned into a few years. But I worked with him for like 9 months, and then that stopped.
How abruptly?
I wanted to do something else
Why?
because I wanted to grow musically and experience more.
In those type of genres, you're playing other people's music.
Correct.
Got it. Is that wearing on a musician?
That's a good question. It can wear on a musician if you have your own ideas of things that you want to express,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but there's a difference between making a living and funding something that you want to express.
Yeah. Well, and when I
guess.
say it too, it's when I say about playing someone else's stuff. That's different. Where say you work with a band, that's different than covering things. Am I correct? It's a different energy.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you talked about energy before, so when you're doing Harris things like that, you guys are doing a lot of cover stuff.
Correct.
Is that tough? Is that tougher on a musician? Like as far as energy wise, when you're covering things as opposed to say like when you started touring with Lenny, that's you guys are playing your music. You know what I mean?
Well, that was his music.
Yeah, well, his music, but you're a part of that band, so you're not really covering something. You're playing originals. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. You know, fortunately,
That's a different energy, right?
yeah, that's a very different energy. Fortunately, the people that I've worked with over the years, I've had the honor and the pleasure of playing with the real people.
Yeah.
You know, Chaka Khan. You know, like there's many, many bands that has covered "I Feel for You" or "Ain't Nobody," but like I've been fortunate enough to play with the person
Yeah. But
that's
early,
responsible for
and
for those
early
songs.
on in that Vegas time, that's what it was. So when you work 9 months, what's the next thing that you do there in Vegas after working 9 months with him? What do you do?
It's funny because back then, like I had this girlfriend that you know, she kind of came into the picture and you know. Yeah. Yeah.
When did you start playing with Michael? You're still going to tell me the girlfriend story, so we're going to get to that. But we could go for a little bit of time. We could, take a little detour. But we're gonna come back to it. Or you want to talk about it now?
Well, I mean, it was a moment where so funny. You know, I met her at the time. I was 21, 22, and I was still playing music, but it kind of I didn't have to worry about much for a window. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Until I found exactly where I belonged, or until it found me.
Yeah.
you know. And, you know, a few months went by, and then I ended up meeting other bands that I worked with around town.
Yeah.
Then it started to pick up for me again. And then I have a good friend named Murphy Palmer that's originally from Chicago. After I stopped working with Galib Galab, I met this guy and he saw me playing somewhere. And from the first moment he saw me play, he kept telling me, hey, you need to come down to the House of Blues. Come down to the House of Blues. I want you to meet some people. And he kept telling me this, but I didn't go right away. It took me a few months because I was occupied doing other things. And he kept telling me, come down to the House of Blues, like repeatedly. Then finally, I went to the House of Blues and I met this blues guitarist by the name of Willie J. We're still friends to this day. I met him, his wife at the time. We're all still friends to this day. And he wanted to introduce me, you know, to this guy. So I ended up sitting in the band, and the rest is history. I played with him for many years. Well, not many years, but like during, you know, my time in Vegas, because I left in 2003. I played with him for like 2.5 years, only to get introduced to Chaka Khan in 2002.
Really?
In Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing because we were talking about that at lunch, and you said Vegas.
Yeah. In between that time, I worked with Michael Fitzhugh as well.
That's at the Mandalay.
At the Mandalay Bay.
At the Island Bar.
Yeah, it was literally across the way.
Yeah.
From the
Island
it was
walking,
walking distance. So I would work with Michael Fitzhugh.
Yeah.
As soon as that was done, I would run over to the House of Blues and start my 10 o'clock gig. Yeah, with Willie J at the time.
Well, what's so nuts about it is that time we were actually there in the Mandalay Bay. That's why I was laughing about it.
Yeah,
you know,
I was
at
there.
lunch is, you know, we used to be there and we used to come up all the time after work and, come and see you guys play.
Yeah.
As not only 6 degrees separation away from each other, but one.
Yeah.
2002, Chaka Khan. How do you meet her? What's the...
Okay. There's lots of people from the Midwest that live in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And during those times, anyone that was from Detroit and Chicago, we all banded together in Vegas. And so I had this bass player friend that I was playing music with around town in Vegas every now and then. His name was Lonnie Motley. He was from the George Clinton crew, Parliament Funkadelic, P-Funk, Brides of Funkenstein, that whole clique.
Yeah.
So we got to jamming together and playing every now and then. And one day he told me, hey, a good friend of mine from Detroit is coming to town. He works with Chaka Khan. I'm going to introduce you to him. I said, okay. And this guitarist, his name was Ricky Rouse. So he finally comes into Vegas, and Lonnie and Ricky get together and they started playing, and he introduces me to them. And so we jam together, we play. And he was like, yeah, man, you sound great. Little did I know, Chaka Khan was looking for another drummer at that time. I didn't know that. They didn't say anything yet. So after playing a couple times together, Ricky Rouse, the guitarist, he took me, he said, hey, I got something to tell you. I want to introduce you to Chaka. I told her about you yesterday. And so sure enough, she was in town for a month doing a stage play. It was a tribute to Stevie Wonder. Mm-hmm. Funny enough, I ended up working for him later. But he took me to meet Chaka Khan while she was in Vegas for the month. And so when I met her, I was like, wow, I can't believe this. Like, I used to watch this woman on MTV, and I would get a hard on as a kid every time she came on MTV. That's how much I loved Chaka Khan. And I ended up telling her that. Not the same day, but much later after I became a part of the band.
Yeah.
But the fact that I was meeting her is like, wow, like that woman had a major effect on me. Like her singing still to this day gives me chills when she sings. It's talk about someone that has the Holy Spirit in her voice, or that magic, whatever you want to call it. Like she definitely has something in her soul when it comes to her singing. When she opens her mouth and sings, it's like the atmosphere moves. It's like alchemy. Like something happens when she sings. And the years that I spent drumming for her, every time she sings, it's like my body would just be chills and just this chemical reaction, tingle, or whatever you call it. I don't know how to describe it, but like something would just sparks, tingles, chills. Whatever it is about her singing is just magical. That's the word I'll put on it. You know, but like I said, watching her, like I didn't understand what was happening to me in 1984 when she came on television, and I would look at her, and then I would look down. I'm like, you can edit some of that out if you have to.
So when you met her, I'm going to bring your microphone down just a little bit. When you met her in person, right?
Yeah.
When you meet her,
Yeah.
did you have to adjust? Did you have to adjust? Like, did you have to adjust as far as, or did you just go in the zone? Because you're a bad man. Like
I went into the zone.
You just went to the zone.
Yes.
How'd you learn how to get in the zone?
I don't know. It just felt like it was just natural.
So there was no, because this is an icon.
Yeah.
I mean, again, like you're an icon, but but at this time, you're finding your legs, all the things you're getting through. You come in contact. Was there any adjustment at all, or did you just like, hey, the switch flipped?
It was a switch.
Bang.
Because I knew this was prime time. I couldn't screw this up. Because basically she just told me, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. I heard about you. Heard you're great. As soon as I'm done with this show that I'm doing here in Vegas, I'm going to make sure you receive the show tapes. Sure enough, I received the show tapes. She's no BS.
Where'd you guys play? What hotel?
Well, I wasn't working with her yet, but at the time, I think she had a show at the Venetian. It was a Stevie Wonder tribute show.
Okay.
Stage play, something of some sort, something like that. But my first gig with her was in August of 2002, Sunset Junction.
Is that in Vegas?
No, here, Los Angeles.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you go to work with her, you guys start touring together, or was it a static show where she had it?
It was a show. My audition was a show. Wow. It was a gig. I had 3 days of rehearsal and a performance. That was the audition.
Wow.
Yeah. In Los Angeles.
Did you kill it?
Obviously, because I spent 2.5 years with her. 2 years, 2.5 years, yeah.
And so was that show for 2.5 years, with that whole 2.5 years, was that in LA, or did you guys tour?
Oh, well, we toured.
Okay.
Yeah, we toured. But my audition was a gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How was that experience? Like when you go on the road because that's the first time that you're on the road as a drummer, am I correct? Like
no, that was not the first time I was on the road as a drummer. Prior to that, I actually skipped an organization. There was a band by the name of Liquid Soul that I also worked with early on. And I was living in Vegas, but I actually flew back to Chicago to work with them. And I started to travel with Liquid Soul to Japan, United States. I also worked with a bluesy rock band that I toured the States with. The name of that band was Ron Prince and Hard Time. That was the name of the band. He's a funny guy too. But yeah, that's who I worked with. So like I started to travel touring as a musician way before Vegas.
Okay.
Because I traveled with my uncle and I traveled with Liquid Soul when I was living in Vegas.
And that Liquid Soul was rock and roll too. Yeah.
Acid jazz, as they call it.
All right.
Acid jazz, funk. It was a band with horns.
Are you a Brand New Heavies fan?
Love Brand New Heavies. My band director, his name was Cardenas. He introduced me to the Brand New Heavies. I love the Brand New Heavies.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, good music.
Underappreciated.
I agree.
Underappreciated.
Yeah.
Ozomatli? Ozomatli?
Ozomatli.
Do you know Ozomatli too?
No.
So Ozomatli is one of my favorites too. That one is, they're unbelievable. So if you take like traditional mariachi music, jazz, funk, hip hop, mash them all together, DJ, you know, all those things. They have a baby, and then they do a drum circle when they come in too. I mean, unreal band.
Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. So go back to Chaka Khan. So you're working with her for 2 years.
Yes.
So everyone's loving you because you're in the zone and you know how to flip the switch. You're getting it. What happens next?
So after she told me I got the job, we started to tour around the States and Europe. And we went to Japan. We went to Malaysia, UK. Couple TV things here and there. I had a great time. You know, and she was a wonderful person to work for, you know. And she's a drummer as well.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Also an Aries.
Really?
So it was great hanging with her.
What did you learn outside the music part from Chaka Khan? Like, you know, because there's, I mean, obviously an iconic singer, unbelievable. Like for me, her music, because I grew up in the breakdancing era, and her music for me, it takes me back to, I mean, music does that where it takes you back to a time.
Yeah.
It takes me back to a time with my parents. It takes me back to, because I was 4th and 5th grade for me. But what else did she teach you? What other, I mean, was there lessons that you saw her, the way that she did her craft, the things that you picked up on, things like that when you were around her?
She taught me how to deal with people. She taught me to always be the best you. She was very easy to talk to. You know, on top of her being from Chicago, you know, she was very easy to hang around and talk to.
Was she from the West Side?
South Side.
So she was a Sox fan, you're a Cubs fan, and you guys got along.
I don't know her preferences when it comes to baseball, but yes.
We need to find out.
Okay.
I think we should call Chaka at some point. You need to call her or text her, email her, whatever, and find out if she's a Cubs or Sox fan. You can't be from the South Side and be a Cubs fan.
Okay.
I don't believe so.
I'll find out.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what she taught me. Like,
did she teach you it through words, or did you watch the way
watch?
What'd you see? What'd you see?
Just how she carried herself. She definitely has a presence. Like, she's one of those ones that changes the air when she walks in the room. Like every place she went, just the whole room just went like gravity. You know, she just and she's a little lady, you know, but big energy.
I had an experience with a guy named JP. So JP is he's the founder of Paul Mitchell, guy with the ponytail, beard, the people.
Understood. Yes, I know who you're talking about.
So
Big deal.
When I was a kid, 22, 23, actually, let's call it. I don't know. The first time I met him was 21.
Yeah.
So I'm 21. I meet him. Hello, how you doing? Said my name, whatever. Didn't see him again for 2 years. 2 years later, we're in Long Beach. He walks into a room, probably about 150 people in the room. I'm about halfway through the 150, so call it 75 people. As he's walking through, he stops, turns, looks me dead in my eyes, and says, "It's good to see you, Kelly."
That's big.
And I always wondered, like, how I met him 2 years ago. And then I asked him a couple years later. I became friends with him, and I asked him, I said, how do you do that? He said, I stay grateful. I know where I've been. I know where I am now. And I'm really grateful of all the things that have happened. So that helps me to be able to stay present in that moment, and that's the way I remember someone's name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was there a specific thing with Chaka that you saw, like a instance or things like that? Not only one, but do you have a specific like that with Chaka that you saw her, not only the room gravitated, but you saw the way that she treated people or the way that she connected?
Yes. Here's what I specifically remember. I remember being in her dressing room, talking with her. And we're having a conversation about whatever. And she picks up a cigarette and she lights it. And then I asked her, I said, so can I ask you something? She said, what, baby? She used to call me Sugar Bear. So I asked her, how are you able to smoke your cigarette and you go out there and sing the way you do? I asked her that. And she said the same reason why you don't warm up before you play a show. And I look at her, she said, when God gives you something that you're capable of, when God gives you a gift that you do, you just do it. You don't think about it. When you have a gift, you just deliver it. You don't think about it. If you're capable and able, you go out there and give it. And I said, oh, okay. Because she's right. And it's funny that she knew that because, like, I don't know, like, I've never been one of those drummers that warm up before a show. And it's not a bad thing. I think you should warm up before a show because, like, it's no different than like a athlete because you're using muscles, and warming up before you perform is a good thing. You should do it. But I've never been that kind of person. With me, it's always been about spirit and my emotions and where I'm at before I hit the stage. If my brain is happy and I got my exercise today, I already feel good. And I'm in a good mood. You know, I'm ready to give you what I have. It's all about mindset and where your energy sits. It's not always about, I gotta warm up my hands. Now, it can be, yes, it's not bad at all, but like I've never thought about that because I like to perform. And if you feel good, the audience is gonna pick up on that. They're gonna pick up on how you feel.
Yeah.
Easily. They don't care whether I warmed up or not. You know, most times my warm up is my exercise in the morning or afternoon, you know. That's usually my warm up because if I did my exercise, I already feel good, you know, like I'm ready for whatever, you know. It's just make sure I'm focused. My brain is happy. My body's happy. I'm ready to play. And I've always been that way. But like, yeah, that's what she said to me. It's the same reason why you don't warm up before we hit the stage. That was her answer.
Did you realize it though before she said that you don't, or because that's just your thing. It's just your natural, but did you realize that you didn't warm up, or did that really bring it home
I
for you?
did realize it, but I just had no idea she noticed.
Wow.
But she's a drummer,
Yeah.
you know? But like to me, like every time I see a singer and they're smoking cigarettes, like to me, that's your instrument. But there's a lot of singers that don't think about that and they sing fantastic. And they smoke.
Level of drummer that she is. Like, where would you place her? I mean, does she just kill it? Because most of us don't get a chance. I didn't know that she was a drummer. I mean, does she just destroy on the drums?
Yeah. She's awesome.
When does a person get to experience Chaka Khan drumming?
You just got to be lucky enough to catch it. If she's hanging out somewhere, she might want to jump on the drums. I've seen her do it before, you know. But a lot of great frontmen are drummers.
Who else?
You know Steven Tyler?
He's a drummer?
Yeah. Dave Grohl. We know he's a drummer, right?
Wow.
Jeffrey Osborne, drummer. Phil Collins, drummer. Josh Homme from Queens of the Stone Age, drummer.
What's the correlation?
Rhythm. Rhythm. You got rhythm, you can do anything. Timing. How you tie things together, I suppose. Lenny Kravitz, drummer.
Originally drummer?
I don't want to say originally drummer, but he plays the drums.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was a thing that I asked to bring your mic.
Don Henley, Eagles, drummer.
Yes. I had a Don Henley story.
I can't wait to hear it.
Well,
I never met him.
I did.
Oh, I've heard.
Yes. Bring your mic just a little bit closer to you, just a touch, just a little bit. I want to keep you comfortable. We'll just, yeah, there we go. Yeah,
Okay.
got it.
I've always wanted to meet him.
Okay. Yeah.
Should we go to commercial break?
No. But okay. I did meet him.
Yeah.
I grew up. My uncle's a huge fan. My dad's a huge fan. Eagles.
Yeah.
If you're, you like rock and roll, you like the Eagles.
Yeah.
You got to respect it.
Of course.
I was just blown away. And he came into the Mandalay Bay when we were there. We had a private room.
Yeah.
But when he rolled in, our staff, let's say, wasn't in the genre of being huge Eagles fans.
Okay.
Okay. So you're talking 19 to 23-year-olds.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody know who he is.
Yeah.
We respect him.
Yeah.
I respect him. I knew who he was.
Yeah.
But he was super adamant about being in a private room. And in my head, I was like, I want to respect you, get you. But at the same time, I was like, there's a lot of people coming in and out of here.
Yeah.
And at that time, I was there from Mandalay Bay from 99 to 2006. And that's the most decadent time in the history of man.
Right.
Mandalay Bay was one of the hottest properties.
Facts.
Everyone came through.
Love that place.
And I think they came through because they felt comfortable that nobody was gawking and it was what it was.
Yeah.
But he wants the private room. We go in the private room, and he's just stoned. He doesn't say anything. But I'm asking him, and I'm pumping him up like, absolute legend, all the stuff. And he just one-word answers. He just didn't want anything to do with me.
Yeah.
But I had a secret weapon.
Okay. And?
I had really, really beautiful women that worked with me.
Boom.
And I brought in the beautiful women.
And he just
started
lit up,
singing
did
like
he?
a canary.
Exactly.
And he wouldn't talk to me at all, but I would ask him
talk
a
to those
question, and he
girls,
would talk
though.
to the girls.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like,
exactly.
man, that was my, it's not a bad thing.
Right.
And I understand he's an icon. So,
Yeah.
but
Whatever. Forget
Whatever.
all of that.
Okay.
You're human.
yeah,
You
that's what I wanted. And
Yeah.
I wanted to help him to understand how much I respected him, all those things. And because my uncle, like if my uncle knew, like when I called my uncle and said, hey, I took care of Don Henley today, my uncle went through the roof. I wanted that experience to be transferred, but it wasn't.
Let me tell you, people that act like they're better than you or they think that they're better than you, they really have the biggest insecurities. You shouldn't have to act like that. During my journey of rock and roll so far, all the real guys, they don't act like that. And don't get me wrong, I respect him a lot.
Of course.
I've never met him. I've always wanted to, but
it might have been a bad day.
maybe it was a bad day. But what I do know, when there's women around, men,
It was different.
they're going to open up. I think that's just natural.
Yeah. It was
You know?
it was definitely different.
Yeah.
You know, so the question I had for you was, you know, when I was listening to your album, I was walking on the beach, and then I was texting back and forth with you.
Thank you for that, by the way.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
I mean, absolutely phenomenal. And I asked
Thank
you a
you.
question. I was like, did you play all the instruments?
No.
Because there have been times where I've heard of certain artists, Lenny being one of them,
Mm-hmm.
that for the recordings of his songs that he would play all the album or play all the instruments. Is this true? Is there truth to those things where certain musicians will play the drums, the guitar, the bass, and then put it all together? And do you like to do that kind of thing?
Me, I do not like to do that kind of thing because I like playing with other people.
Got it.
I'm not saying that that's bad. There are people that play all the instruments on the record, and more power to you.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, I'd rather have that exchange. Now, the way I did my album, I wrote it, but I didn't play every single instrument. I played some of the guitar, yes.
Yeah.
Drums, obviously, yes. I'm singing everything, yes. Yes, I wrote the songs, but there are people that can play a C chord better than me.
Okay.
Of course. So I want that guy,
Yeah.
you know. So yeah, I had the pleasure of having Pete Thorne, which is one of my favorite guitarists that's playing on the record. Michael Fish Herring is also playing guitar on the record. Richard Fortus from Guns N' Roses is also playing on the record. So my guitar parts are there, but you know, I have guys like that surrounding me as well, because I'm used to playing with great players, and I'm not trying to be the guy that plays every single instrument on the record. Nothing wrong with that. You do what you want, but I like different textures. You know, there's plenty of guys that plays a C chord or E chord with a different attitude than me. Like I said, you know, you can get two different drummers to play this, but it feels totally different. You know?
That comes from their soul.
Exactly. Yeah. It's their approach is what I paid for.
What about the writing part of it? Because do you write, is it I always try and associate. So if this association is bad, then just, you could just strike it from the record. But yeah. I think of it as say like a novel.
Yeah.
And then there's chapters in the novel.
Mm-hmm.
And they all almost work together. So when I look at an album, not all albums, but is that the way that you write? Do you do an overarching theme and then put, you know, chapters inside of it? Or do you come up with a song and then that becomes the theme and then you do it afterwards? What's your process?
Both. It comes different ways. Sometimes I might have a theme that I start with, but it might not end up that same theme. It evolves.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just have a drum beat, or sometimes it may be a melody. Sometimes I have words and no melody. The way I wrote my record, it came to me different ways along with my living life, along with my experiences that I dealt with along the way. Any inspiration that I received that affected me a certain way, I'll write about it or drum about it. You know, ups, downs, whatever. It came different ways. But as I wrote a body of songs, it was all the same picture. You know.
How'd you choose, and how do you choose how to name it? Like how to name the album?
Good question. The way I named my album is I analyzed everything I went through, And when I listened to everything, I realized there was a lot of stuff that I didn't say to most. So, which is how and why I ended up with the overall title, Inside My Silence. It was like these songs were things that I did not say to people or my friends at the time. Maybe a couple, but most of it, I just kept to myself. You know, you can see a lot of things or experience a lot of things, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have to say something about it. You internalize things. So it was a lot of things that I internalized and just held on to until I was ready to say it. So Inside My Silence.
How perfect was it, though? Because you have one cover on the album. It's going to be your second single. Am I allowed to say that?
As of right now, yes.
Am I allowed to say that?
Yes.
Okay, so it's possibly,
Mm-hmm.
could be,
Yeah.
maybe a single. It's a cover, and it's a banger.
I love it.
It's a banger.
I really love that song.
It's wild because, and forgive me for this, I didn't know it was a cover,
That's okay.
but I felt, when you talk about energy, I didn't realize this until you just said it. Like, you said it earlier and you've alluded to it.
Mm-hmm.
I felt the energy of that. I felt that there was someone in your life that you didn't want to be like because you experienced it.
Yes. And I'm not going to say that person's name. That cover came along in my life at the perfect time.
I don't think that you could have done that song with the type of energy that a person's going to feel when they sing it if you hadn't experienced.
Oh,
Do you agree with that?
100%. And I'm not going to say the person's name.
Of course.
Couple people actually, but
Okay.
yeah.
I figured
Yeah.
too that you wouldn't, the respect wise, everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Take me back to Chaka. So you're touring
Sure.
with Chaka 2 years. It comes to an end, like that part comes to an end.
Mm-hmm.
Do you already have your next one set up? Like the next thing that you're about to do?
The next gig?
Yeah, the next gig.
Good question. When the Chaka run was over, okay, when I was working with Chaka Khan, I was also working with Richie Kotzen as well, still. So I was playing with him, but at the same time, I was working on my singing and songwriting. So subconsciously, I was preparing for where I am now, I guess. You know? So, yeah, that's what was happening then.
Did you know it was coming?
Yes. Because the music business is a beautiful business, but it's also a tough business and ever-changing business. And that's the good part.
Well, it's got to be. I mean, it's got to be tough.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I don't know. Back then and even now, like I said to myself, I didn't want to stay in one position in the music business or the music industry, I would say, because there's a difference between the industry and the business. You know, I didn't want to just play the drums or be the drummer. Because if you want to be in the business, you got to write something. You got to write songs. You got to produce. You know, you got to be a part of creation, not just a robot delivering the music. Like, what is it about you that you're able to express? So I was smart enough to understand that even the things that you love must change. So I had to work on other things within the business to stay in it, because there's always going to be a new drummer that will come to town. Not that I was worried about that, but there's always someone new coming along that wants to get in the game, you know. In my 20s, you know, I was working a lot. In my 30s, I was working a lot. And in my 40s too, but there's always the new guy that comes around in any business that is just as fired up as you are, if not cheaper, because they're trying to make themselves available. They're trying to get in the game. So at some point, if you're working for somebody, either you're going to get fired or you'll probably quit because you're tired of it or whatever. Something's going to happen that what you're doing will end. I don't care who you're working with or for. At some point, it might end, especially as a freelance musician or sideman, if you will. You know, it will end at some point. If you're not a part of the production or writing or whatever, if you're not a part of the company, if you don't have a stake in the company, you're expendable. Your job is to not make yourself expendable. Don't you agree? If you want to stay.
When did you realize that?
In my 20s.
Was there a specific time where you were watching and you saw somebody that got eaten up? What was it?
I just simply watched how easy it was to fire people for, I don't know, if you didn't like that person's shirt, get rid of them. I don't like how the person looked at me. Get rid of them. It could have nothing to do with music, you know. It could be 50 things that you have no idea about. If they don't want to work with you anymore, they'll find somebody else. I never wanted to be that guy. I've always wanted to be prepared as much as possible for the next thing. At the same time, I didn't want to be the musician that worked with 100 different bands. I never wanted to be that guy. I always wanted to spend some time in a band and make a name with the band and for myself, you know, and to really develop a situation. I didn't want to be the musician that jumped around to 100 different bands. I wanted to be a part of something.
Yeah.
I wanted to get somewhere with an organization and then you see what happens from there. I didn't just want to be, you know, the paid drummer guy, you know. And once I saw that coming, I had to make other plans elsewhere. That's why I never gave up on my own artistry, what I wanted to express, you know.
What came after Chaka Khan?
Lenny Kravitz. Well, no, Stevie Wonder, I'm sorry. I worked for Stevie Wonder for a short window. It was just a few gigs, but it was a great experience.
Okay.
And I was still working with Richie at the time because I did 3 albums with him and did a couple tours. And one day, a friend of mine introduced me to Lenny Kravitz. So that happened in 2007.
How'd you guys meet? Did they call you in to drum or?
Earlier, I told you that there was a friend that I currently have, that I had no idea that he was friends with Lenny Kravitz because he was one of the musicians that I met early on when I moved to Los Angeles. His name is Don Wyatt. He's also playing on my album. But I met him in 2004, 2005, somewhere around that year. Yeah, I knew him for a couple of years at that time. And then one day, I hired him for something. Okay, I remember. Someone called me to put a band together for an artist, and he was one of the guys I called to play piano. And so when we met up, he asked me, hey, so like, what are you doing these days? Like, what do you have going on? And I said, I'm doing a little of this and a little of that. At that time, like I told you, I was working as a electrician. And he said, I didn't tell him that because it was my own thing. You know, it was something that I was doing, you know, to learn some more skills and and work was slow for me at the time. So I had to find something to do, you know, and a friend of mine introduced me to the electrician work. His name is Nate. And much love and respect to him. Like he really helped me back then. It was fun actually learning that trade. So he said, you know, my friend Don, he asked me, you know, what are you doing? And I said, you know, I'm doing a little this and that and, you know, drumming for certain people every now and then. He said, okay, someone's going to call you in a couple days. They're looking for a drummer. That's how it started. He never said any names. He didn't say who. He didn't say what. I had no idea. A couple days went by, got a phone call. Lenny Kravitz. And looking back, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me back then. And days later, he flew me out to New York, and I stayed at the W Hotel, I believe. But at the time, he had a beautiful studio located in the Edison Hotel. It was like it was very unassuming. Like you wouldn't know that there's a studio in this hotel.
Uh-huh.
And if I remember correctly, I think it was Duke Ellington's old studio, if I got that correctly. But it was in the Edison Hotel, a historical hotel. Beautiful studio. So I go in there, meet him. We sat down, talked, and we started to play. Played a few tunes, hung out a little while, and I think I stayed in New York a couple days at that time, went back to my hotel, and I left. Week goes by. He calls me back. Hey, could you come out and play again? I said, okay, sure. I go out and I play. This time, I'm playing with other musicians. And one of those musicians were my friend Don Wyatt and his brother at the time. And I met Craig Ross. But funny enough, I'm digressing from the story. Funny enough, I met Craig Ross before I met Lenny. I met Craig Ross and Jack Daly in an elevator in 2004. I was still playing with Chaka Khan at the time. I met them in an elevator at the W Hotel, checking out. I knew exactly who they were, and they were cool, nice to meet them. I gave them my card, and little did I realize I was going to see those guys again a few years later. But I remember meeting Craig Ross and Jack Daly way before I met Lenny. So anyway, I come back out to New York. We play. We're jamming. And I think we did a private gig at that point, played the gig, and I went home. A week or two goes by again, and he calls me back. And I said, okay, what's going on here? You know, like, all right, what are we doing? Little did I realize, I thought I was still auditioning. I kind of was, but I thought I was up against other drummers. But I didn't realize that I was not. Like, I was highly considered to be a part of this situation. So I go back out, and I meet some other people, and we play more. We played at Cipriani's, and, you know, we're hanging. I go back home. I'll never forget this. I think it was May of 2007. I had jury duty, and I'm sitting in the waiting room, you know, for jury duty. Luckily, they didn't need me that day, so I was released. I'm walking outside the court. My phone rings. And at the time, it was Lenny's manager. And I answer. And he says to me, hey, so you want to play with Lenny? You know, he wants you to work with him. And immediately I said, yeah. I said, I happily accept. So I'm excited, driving home. First gig, 1 million people, July, Live Earth, Brazil. And I had the time of my life.
1 million people are there?
1 million people were there. Not to mention the people that were watching worldwide. So that was the most people I've ever performed in front of, ever in my life. It was at least 1 million people on that beach. Copacabana Beach, Rio de Janeiro, July 2007. I'll never forget it. That was a big gig, and that was the first day on the job for me.
You said you weren't nervous with 3,000 to 4,000, and you just locked in,
Yeah.
and you were in the zone.
Yeah.
In front of 1 million.
I was a touch nervous, but I said, forget that. You can't mess this up. Like, this is exactly what I've been asking for. That was my attitude. Because we rehearsed prior to that, and so I was going to go out there and give it my best, and don't screw up. Simple. Like, he's not paying me to mess up. He's paying me for a result. So that was my mindset. And I walk out there and I see 1 million people. I'm like, okay, this is it. It's exactly what I wanted.
Mm.
Yeah.
What does 1 million people look like?
It looks like the Pacific Ocean. So many heads. You can't even see that far back, but it was such a amazing energy coming back at you.
What was the first song?
If I remember correctly, I believe it was a song called Bring It On.
Was this during the 5 album?
No, it was after that, way after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do bands continue to do encores when we know that when you leave, you're coming back? So we're not cheering you back onto stage.
Yeah.
Has it just become nostalgia?
Suppose.
How do you feel as a musician? Do you feel like when you're getting done, you're like, all right, I'm about to walk off stage, and then I'm about to come back?
When you have that many people that's loving what you do, you want to give them more.
Okay.
It gives you energy. You're feeding each other. Like I told you earlier, like, they feel you when you're either nervous or you're enjoying yourself, or they feel when you feel good. Because, like, if you feel good, you're going to make them feel good.
When's the last time you did like a legit, like when I say legitimate, like a real encore, meaning you're done, all done, and they scream so loud that you actually come back out and you didn't even have it planned? Because, am I correct? Like, every time there's a concert now, you already know what the encore is going to be. I asked my son, like, let's bet on what the encore is going to be. Has there been a time in your career where the cheering was so loud, you were done,
Yeah.
that you said, let's go back out?
Yeah. It's been several times like that.
When was the last time? Is it something the musicians talk about as far as like that tradition? Because it's a tradition now, right?
The last time, well, first of all, I'm in a band with Robbie Krieger, and it's called Robbie Krieger and the Soul Savages. So the last time that happened is when we played a place called the Coach House. And they loved us so much that after the encore, like, we had to go back and do something. But it was such a positive response. And like, we were all done, but they insisted.
Yeah.
So we did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think it should go back to that type, or do you think the encore will always be just a tradition?
Should it go back to that?
Should it go back to, like, say for instance, again, like if I look at it now, if I go to a concert, I know there's going to be a encore. I already know it. I don't even have to cheer. The band's going to get done. Thank you, San Diego. You were the greatest. And then they go, and I'm like, 2 minutes later, you're coming back for at least 2 songs. From your perspective, would you like to just go and then if they cheer, come back? Or do you want it written into the set? Because it's written as the set list right now. Am I correct? Yeah. Would you prefer it to not be written into the set list and just get done, and then if they cheer loud enough, then you come back?
No one's ever asked me that.
That's why you're here, Franklin.
Me personally?
Yeah.
I've always been good with off the cuff. I'd rather it not be written in the set list. I'd rather it not, because like I like to believe that I'm good under, quick decisions and pressure. I'm comfortable with things not being planned.
Okay.
Especially for things like that, because you really want to know whether or not they want you to come back. And in real time, we discuss what we want to deliver. So I'd rather it not be written and we deal with it in real time, because every night is different. I'm good with it not being written. If they want us back, then we go back out. If not, we ain't going out there.
It's interesting that you talked about that you didn't want to be a person that, was with 50 bands or whatever it is. And that's the life that you led. I mean, most of the time you don't hear about a drummer being with someone for 15 years. You called me on this on the podcast the other day because I said, Gil, this is Franklin. He drummed with Lenny for 9 years. You were like 15. It's like, my bad. I missed out on 6 years. But that's a long time. But say when you go out on a tour, that tour is for that year. Or two. Do you already know what the encore is going to be? And do you do the same encore every single night?
Back then, no. Well, we always did Are You Gonna Go My Way? We did.
As a encore. But there would be different songs accompanied, because you're not just playing one song.
Right.
How many songs would you play in encore?
2.
Which ones?
With Lenny, it was either Let Love Rule or Are You Gonna Go My Way?
Why didn't you guys play Fields of Joy more in concert?
We did. When I was with him, we did.
In concert?
Yes, absolutely.
I only got to experience it once.
Yeah.
We
did.
I mean, that one, okay, how amazing did you feel of the buildup of that song? Because it's Fields of Joy is like a, and then it punches you in the, you know what I'm saying? Like when I say that to you, I saw you start to smile.
Yeah.
Like that one is one where there's a build, and then just a, I mean, it's almost like, I think of it boxing. It would be as if Sugar Ray, smooth. Then you brought in Ali, smooth, but was going to take your head off. And then ended with Mike Tyson, just going to kill you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Does that?
Yes. It's accurate.
Did you feel that same way in that song?
Yeah, I enjoyed playing that song. Yeah.
What was your favorite as far as song-wise? Because most of the time what I find is the artist's favorites are different than like when I've told you I saw Lenny play for Intel.com. It wasn't a concert. He was brought in as a private event. And what he said before he started, he said, I love playing these type of events because I get to play what I love as opposed to what's the hit. What was your favorite?
With me, the more rock-oriented songs were my favorite. like Rock and Roll is Dead, Circus, Minister of Rock and Roll, Bring It On, Are You Gonna Go My Way? Like more of the hard driving ones were like my favorites.
Mr. Cab Driver?
That was not my favorite.
No?
No. I don't hate the song, but it wasn't my favorite song to play.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was Are You Gonna Go My Way about Jesus?
Perhaps.
Because if you hear it,
If you read
if
the
you
lyrics.
read the lyrics,
Yeah.
I was born long ago,
Yeah.
and I won't stop until I'm done.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go my way?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I always wondered.
Yeah.
Top song that you jammed out, like when you guys were on tour, that you were just like, this is. I mean, I know that you're a professional. You're the best at what you do. You're gonna play your heart out at every song. You already talked about this, but was there one that when you would play it, you would be like, this is it. You know what I'm saying? Like when you would get into it.
Bring It On.
Bring it on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you find that the audience would respond to you when you're talking about the energy because you felt that? Would you almost move the audience? Would you see them? Because there's a time where
Yes.
with an audience, you can grab them
Yeah.
and you can move them where you want them to go.
Yeah. As a drummer, you could do that. Yeah, I saw that many, many times. Yeah.
Do you see up and coming drummers right now that that you're inspired by and that you're saying like that one really,
Very much so.
like who?
I wouldn't call them up and coming because they're friends of mine, but there are some drummers that I'm very much inspired by.
Okay.
A couple of jazz drummers, a few jazz drummers that I like. Kendrick Scott.
Okay.
He's very established jazz drummer. I'm very inspired by his playing. One of my favorite drummers and friend of mine, Carl Lamar Carter. He plays many different styles. He's not only a jazz drummer, but great drummer. Carl Lamar Carter, Marcus Gilmore, which is the grandson of Roy Haynes, one of my drum influences, and I love Brian Blade, older than me, I believe, but incredible and dynamic drummer. Greg Hutchinson, amazing jazz drummer.
What
love his
about
drumming.
what about some of the kids that maybe you've experienced that are maybe a little bit younger, don't have as much experience? Because this shocks me. So like when technology today.
Yeah.
A lot of times I got the get off my lawn kind of scenario. We were talking about it at lunch a little bit, and
Yeah.
sometimes I'll have it, especially music or NBA or things like that. But there's sometimes where these kids will advance so quickly because of technology.
Yes.
And I want to say you need to go through this, but they don't need to because they're doing great at what they're doing, right? And so I have my get off my lawn thought, but they're just progressing. Are there people like that in your profession that you're seeing and saying like, this kid is young, maybe hasn't been on the road, hasn't been doing these things, but I experienced them and they are just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There are no set rules on how to get to where you want to go. If you're good, if you're good at it and you're committed to it, and you get there, great. There are no rules. I mean, now on the other hand, I do believe in living life and going through the ranks, I would say, because that alone creates more character and staying power. The staying power, like you got to have those bumps, because it's experience, and it's not only about music, it's how you relate to people and converse with people. But if you have the ability to reach the level you want to reach, if you have the ability to reach where you want to reach with the instrument, then more power to you. You know, as long as you get there and you commit to it, it's great.
175 dates on a tour in a year. I'm not saying that was always, but this is the kind of scenario that you would have.
If my memory serves me correctly, we worked an awful lot back then.
How do you have time to think?
Good question. When I shut the door to my hotel room, that's when I had time to think. In my own quiet time.
How did you manage the part of, because when you're growing up, you're thinking, this is what I want to do. I love it. You're not doing it for the fame or for the money or anything like that. You're just because I want to drum. As you go along, masters are going to be found. Like that's the way the world works. I think the way that life works is you master your craft, you're going to be found. And when you're found, if you continue to be a master, you're going to be celebrated. But most of the time, you didn't start off wanting to be celebrated. It's not why you did what you did. It's just, and there's things that come with being celebrated. There's pressure in that part of it that a lot of times almost overtakes the person that's the master and takes their focus off of. How'd you deal with that? Because there was probably people in your life that obviously loved you all the way through, but there was probably people that started to come around when things started to go well.
Yeah. How did I deal with that?
How'd you deal with that?
How did I deal with people that will come around me when...
Yeah, because that's energy too, right? You were talking about energy and you were talking about tour dates of all these things. I'm sure you had people coming at you saying like, can you get me this? Can I be here? Can I see this? Can I be here? Can I do all this? So now you're managing that, but then you got to put in every 2 days in a year, you're on stage in front of tens of thousands, sometimes hundreds of thousands of people. And your energy has to go out to those people to be able to resonate. But you've got people drawing on you, drawing on your battery, and you have to recharge your battery and then go push it out to people. How'd you deal?
Well, like I said earlier, if I feel the person first.
Yeah.
If I didn't want to plug into that frequency, I just disregard it.
Oh, got it.
I like to give out a lot of energy, but I'm also mindful of who I give it to, because everybody doesn't deserve your frequency. You know what I mean? You can be kind, but you don't always have to plug into everybody, because there are a lot of takers. And when you see it coming, you just move to the side and keep moving. Like, if I see it coming, I just ignore it and disregard it. You know, you got to give to get. But I always did my best to never let someone just extract all of my energy. You know, as much energy I enjoy giving, you got to protect it too. You know?
We just did an event in South Dakota. It was called the Day of Excellence. Like 1,800 people. The town comes together. It's unbelievable.
I can't wait to go there.
I'm actually going to get you with Renee.
Okay.
Renee's going to love me for this.
Okay.
Because you need to speak at Day of Excellence. So, but I went, and it's 1,800 people. The town is about 85,000 collectively. Like, you know, this is where Mount Rushmore is.
Yeah.
1,800 people, beautiful theater. I'll show you the pictures of it. Unreal. But the thing that I remember about it most was going to fast food with one of the speakers at night. His name is Paul, really cool guy. We went through the drive-thru. He wanted me to get a hot apple pie. I hadn't had one since I was a kid. They made us pull forward and wait for our order because it wasn't all the way done. You know, sometimes that happens in a drive-thru.
In drive-thrus, yeah.
One of my fondest memories, but I was in front of 1,800 people, beautiful theater, but what were a couple of those moments while you're on tour for 15 years, one of the coolest bands on the planet, you being one of the coolest rock stars on the planet,
You're very kind.
What are some of the specific little things, not the concert part, not playing the song or the encore or the people jumping up and down, but the in-between? What were some of those things?
The moments in between
Yeah,
touring.
like or while you were on tour, where, like I said, I mean, for me, a lot of people would have thought, "Wow, you got to speak to 1,800 people. It was awesome. It was amazing. We signed books. We did all this stuff." But one of my fondest memories was the drive-through getting an apple pie.
I have many fond memories in between the tour.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's fond memories of just certain people I would meet if I would go into a restaurant on an off day. I remember specifically a time in Paris when Robert Plant was in town performing at a theater with Alison Krauss. I remember going to see them on an off day, and I had the pleasure of finally meeting one of the members of Led Zeppelin, Mr. Robert Plant. It was incredible to meet him. And I've met him several times after that, but that was the first time I met him. That moment stands out because, like, everybody loves Zeppelin. I like to think so, but, like, the fact that I finally met the lead singer of Led Zeppelin was a big deal, for me. And I wish I would have been able to meet John Bonham, but unfortunately he left us, But meeting him was a great standout moment back then. That's one of many. That's just one that I just pulled out of my hat right away. But that was an incredible moment. The project that he has with Alison Krauss was also incredible. Yeah.
And it was always interesting to me with Van Halen, because Van Halen, I always thought, when I first came in contact with them, I was like, well, the band is called Van Halen. Therefore, the lead singer is going to be Van Halen, which it wasn't.
Nope.
Obviously, we know that.
Right.
Eddie and Alex was the drummer, right?
I met them both. I spent a few hours with them both, Eddie and Alex. Yes, I had the pleasure of meeting them both. I talked with Eddie the longest. He was such an incredible guy. God bless him. I wish he was still here. He was such a nice guy.
That was the first time that I ever experienced a band where the band's name was not the lead singer.
I got to find that photo. You made me think about that.
Do you enjoy, like your solo project is, your lead singing. Do you enjoy the lead singing part?
I do, because it's a challenge all into itself. And, prior to my current album, I had to sing backing vocals with Lenny on the drums. So it was great practice.
How hard is that to drum and to sing vocals? Because that's a lot of energy coming out of you.
Yeah, you have to distribute your energy evenly, I would say.
So can you go ham on the drums then?
You can, but you got to make sure you're breathing properly when you sing.
Is it circular breathing is what it's called? Through the nose and I don't know.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
but the way I look at it is even distribution. You got to have enough breath to sing in pitch as you're drumming evenly as well, and in time. Yeah.
Who would be the ultimate for you? People talk about this in sports. They, the big thing is the GOAT. Like, is it? And it is Michael Jordan, by the way. I just want to let you know that.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah.
Everyone should know.
Yeah.
But then they rank people and they say, like, okay, based off of, like, who would be your ultimate starting five? Point guard, shooting guard, power forward, small forward, center.
For
right?
singing drummers?
No, for sports. That's what they do in the NBA.
Oh,
That's
my
what
top
they talk
5
about.
sports figures?
No, but a band. If you could put a band together and you said, this is going to be the drummer, this is going to be the bass, this is going to be the guitar, this is going to be the lead singer, this crew together, who's that for you?
So I'll start with the drummer.
Okay.
Me.
Of course.
I'll be the drummer. Lead singer. I wish he was still with us because I was friends with him for a little while. Chris Cornell. Everybody misses that guy. Bass player. Jack Daly. Jack Daly was the former bassist with Lenny Kravitz. He's a great bass player and a great guy. Guitar. Marcus King. I've never met him, but I'm a huge fan of his singing and guitar playing. Is that it? Keyboards?
Who do we got on keyboards? Do you think a band needs keyboards?
Yes, yes.
Okay. In your ultimate. Who's keyboard?
Sly Stone.
How do you feel about, I remember hearing this for the first time.
Yeah.
We were talking about guitarists. We were talking about that. And
Yeah.
I said a guitarist, and I said, this guy is the GOAT. Now, obviously, GOAT is subjective to some people's mind in certain times. And the kid, it was early on, but the kid said John Mayer. And I was like, I didn't understand John Mayer at the time. I didn't understand. I mean, how do you feel with him being with Grateful Dead? I've heard mixed sides. Most of the people that have, I even had a Deadhead, like unbelievable. I mean, he started very early on, huge Jerry fan, all the stuff.
Yeah.
And he said, I was resistant. And then he went and he experienced Mayer and he was like, I'm good. How is do you think that he's in the top tier as far as guitarists?
Of guitar players? I like his playing.
Okay.
Yeah, I've always liked John Mayer's playing. I've never met him.
Yeah.
I have some colleagues that work with him. I just never met him. But his guitar playing, I love. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask you some questions about the new album? I wrote them down because I couldn't, as I was listening, this was, let me do this.
Can we pause so I can take a quick bathroom
You can,
break?
yeah, do it. I can't remember where I was, but I landed back that day into San Diego, and I had to drive from San Diego to Orange County. And it's not that great of a drive at rush hour.
Facts.
And I was like, I told my friend I was going to come, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to go. And then I ended up at the drum circle. And, my pops always told me that, you never know where someone's from. You never know where they're going. You never know where you'll meet up with them again. So make a friend out of everyone. And had I not pushed through and kept my word, like my pops taught me to do too, because I wanted to, seriously, I was like, nah, I'm not going to drive up. But I got a chance. Would you like a little bit more?
No,
You're good?
I have enough.
You got enough. You got enough. So I have the questions here from your album.
Okay.
Okay, so number one, I Don't Want to Be Like You, absolute fire. I can't wait till this drops so everyone can, I already asked you the backstory on that, but I know you're not going to tell me. So it's just that the fact that there's a lot of people that, made you feel this way. Let's go to Signs. So Signs made me think about Chicago for me. Is that what it was written about?
Not only Chicago, but yes.
What else was it written about?
It was written about the pressures that we live with every day when it comes to the media. When you're really looking at what's going on behind what's, the news, what's always behind it?
Yeah.
It's always money or war. But war and money is hand in hand. What are they fighting for? They're fighting for resources or the control of something, right?
Yeah.
and it always leads to money or capitalization. And when you look at it, that's what we see every day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the signs of what's happening every day. So basically that song was about my journey from Chicago into the world that we have now, you know, which is what we're surrounded by. You know,
Did the Chicago for you represent kind of an innocence? You know, like I'm not saying just but this the purity of the craft. That's what I took when I listened to the song.
yeah.
The purity of the craft. You fell in love with this thing when you're a kid. You start playing in church. You're doing it because you love it. You have school, then you run down in the basement and you're just banging it and doing anything. You would do it for free. It doesn't matter. You just do it in your pastime, whatever it is. And then the world hits, and then you go out, and there's all these other things that's what I felt.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good analysis
So-
as well.
So a lot of these questions that I'm going to ask you about this album is
Sure.
ways that I felt, and I mean, it's what I felt in
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
but there is that side of like, did I feel what he was like, what he meant for it? So when we go to Crazy, the song Crazy, what does Dracula represent?
The devil. Or my lust.
What did the devil look like to you?
How much time you got?
We got all night, man.
Well, in my opinion, the devil is what you make it. Anything that has a possibility of controlling your being or your decisions or influencing the way you think and feel in a way that it makes you go astray, even when you know something's right or wrong.
What's the one that gets you? What's the when you speak about that? That's a kind of generality with you, Franklin. What's the thing that you know and you could see it, and you could, if we had a conversation about it, you would be like, stay away from this or stay away from that, but still gets you.
You got anything else you want to talk about?
You were dedicated. You were dedicated not to answer. I was thinking that I could break you just by. Okay, so that one probably has a specific name. Alive. This was something that I wrote down was the loneliness of rock and roll ? Like, is that it was Alive about that, and was there a feeling that way? And then the heavy hitting rock and roll, and you'll never take me alive. Like that lyric.
You have very, very good analysis. Yeah.
Was it about the loneliness of rock and roll?
Yeah. Yeah. not only rock and roll, it was about the loneliness of the planet.
Because the planet is a big one.
Oh yeah.
What is your planet? Like, what is it? Because there's a representation there.
Yeah, like you can be in a room full of people but feel alone.
Yeah.
You know, but you can feel like that in the world too if you're misunderstood from time to time as well.
Yeah.
But you can definitely say that it's definitely rock and roll. It could definitely be like the loneliness of rock and roll too. Like that the road to rock and roll or the freedom of it is not easy. And I have more to go. I have a lot more to go.
Everybody's talking about love. This one was a country ballad. I felt it was more country. It kind of had that feel. It's still rock and roll, but it has a country kind of feel to it.
Yeah, I made it that way.
Was there a time that you felt you were being left out of a conversation? And where was the country inspiration? Because when everyone's talking about love, that was my question while I was walking, is like, did he ever feel like he was being left out of that conversation? Because that's as I'm listening to the song, it's almost like as you're saying it, everybody's talking about love, but where's mine? Does that resonate or no?
It does resonate what you're saying to me, and I like very much so what you're saying to me. I like it.
Okay. Because what I felt, but
like an air of wanting or loneliness.
Yeah. Or again, like everybody is talking about this thing. Like, I want to be talking about it too.
Yeah.
Or was it coming from a different angle?
Well, slightly different angle, but again, I love your analysis.
Okay.
Like I said, people always talk about it. A lot of people don't have it, but when it arrives, you know it.
Okay.
When it arrives, you know when it shows up.
Yeah. Silver Song.
Oh.
Mama and Pops?
No.
It wasn't.
Again, I like your analysis.
I felt that the Silver Song.
What did you feel? You tell me.
Well, I felt that this was something like every lyric that I heard, I was like, oh, he's talking about his mom and pop. The connection point, the mom and pop. And maybe it's because when I listened to Silver Song, I heard my relationship with my parents. You know what I mean? And so I was just wondering about that. And then I wanted to give you a compliment because, and I don't know how you'll take this.
Give it.
But it's a compliment from me.
Okay.
Your voice in that song was so damn angelic, ridiculous. And what I thought about in that song was Seal.
I've heard that before. And thank you.
And it was, that's
a compliment.
if I didn't like Seal and I was like, damn, you sound like Seal, that wouldn't, you know what I mean? You would want to punch me in my face. But
I wouldn't punch you at all.
But it was like that was amazing. With Never.
Can we talk about Silver Song?
Yes.
That's probably my most favorite song on the upcoming album. And funny enough, there's no drums, as you know, but that's like my favorite song. I was going through a lot when I wrote that song. I was I lived in my car for a little bit. No one knew it, but I guess everyone knows now. But it was a moment, a rough spot, and I ended up finishing that song in one of the most toughest times in my life. Yeah.
Never. I could feel the pain.
Yeah, I was pissed too.
Why?
I had this girlfriend that was married. Need I say more? I was trying to get away from her.
Still married.
Yeah, still married, but she
Like actively married, separated married.
active. But and I was
Franklin.
I was trying to shake myself from her.
Did mom know about this?
No, my mom didn't know about that.
Mom would have slapped
No.
you. Would she? Would sister? Sister would have got you. No? Who in your life would have told you,
Well,
Franklin, what are you doing?
no one needed to tell me. I knew it was bad.
I know, but
I was trying to get away from her.
Who's your friend, though? Who's your friend that's going to be like, Franklin? Come on now.
I knew. I was trying to get away from her, but she was.
You still didn't answer my question.
Who was my friend?
No, but who's your friend that would tell you? Like, I mean, because there's a lot of friends that would be like, "No, it's cool." But
No, it wasn't cool.
No, but what friend was in your face saying, "Franklin, come on now"?
One of my closest friends,
Okay, good.
still to this day.
Okay,
I knew it wasn't cool. I was trying to get away from her,
okay. And
but she made it damn near impossible. Long story.
So
that's
now we know who
unnecessary
the devil
today.
is.
Oh my goodness! Like, it was not easy getting away
Well,
from her.
okay, so take me to the pain. Take me to the pain. You got. Take me to the pain. So you're going through it. I've got the. Generally, and honestly, like I never have notes, but when I listened to this album,
Yeah.
I had to write down because I'm like, okay, so felt the pain, the devil. So that's 2 songs in one. I asked you about it, and we just found out who Dracula was.
Well.
Okay, Dracula. She needs to stay home. She whatever spells you were casting, like you were talking earlier, spelling bee. It took you a second to get that one. You just told me. You told me that. I never realized that. Okay, so this sounds like a relationship with rock and roll.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember who was it? Cody Chestnut. You remember the song with the Roots?
Mm-hmm.
Where he was talking about what was he talking about? I made a push for seed of life or something like that. I can't remember the exact lyric.
Yeah.
Do you remember the song that I'm talking about with the Roots and Cody Chestnut?
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about his relationship with rock and roll, and he felt like he was cheating on hip hop.
Mm.
And it was like, it was this, but the she part of it, I felt that the she that you were talking about was rock and roll. It wasn't a woman.
Well,
this is
it was a woman.
okay. Was this another one? Was this another Dracula?
I wouldn't call her Dracula, but she was conflicted within herself.
Okay.
This podcast has to end.
Okay.
Now.
It's your album.
Well, I know.
It's your album.
But
Okay, all right. So pass on this? Is that what you're saying? When I said pass, you actually wanted to stay.
It was someone that we were very fond of each other long ago.
Okay.
But she happened to be very religious.
Okay.
And every time we would converse,
Hang out.
mm-hmm.
The
she would feel guilty afterwards.
Ah, got it. Because it was out of wedlock.
Yes, but she wasn't married.
Living in sin. I'm
Yeah,
just joking with you. I'm just kidding.
yeah, all of the above.
But what do you find the difference is between like religious and I feel that you have a relationship, like you have a relationship spiritually.
Yes, I do.
Right?
Yeah.
You feel that.
I'm not a
from you.
religious person.
What do you think the difference is? How do you
There's
define it?
a big difference.
How?
Oh boy, now we're talking about religion. Now, there's a difference between being spiritual and being religious.
Got it.
I think there are some people that are very religious because they're in the practice and they're in love with the action of going to church, but spiritually they're getting nowhere. They're not evolving as a person.
So that's like the drummer that knows how to play the exact right things, but doesn't have it. It's on them. It's not in
right. You know, religion, it's like you're fighting one belief, you're agreeing with one belief and disagreeing and rejecting the other. That's what I think religion is. And it's like, when you really look at religion, I feel that everybody's trying to get to the same place. You know, you got religious people and you got people that have a relationship with God. And yes, I believe in God, but I don't believe in religion. Like one religion's better than the other. You know?
Yeah.
Because, you know, we're all created by one God. Now, maybe someone might disagree with me, but I think we're all trying to get to the same place. Yeah. You know, there's more than one name, I guess, for word God, you know?
Well, it makes me think about, as you talked about music earlier, you know, and you talked about the fact that you think that, you know, a musician should play jazz and play blues and play all, and because it's all music, and to understand it. And it doesn't mean that you have to stay in that place, but when you play it, when you get closer to something, you have less judgment on it. So if you don't like blues, but you play blues or you experience blues, you're going to have a different appreciation. Maybe it's not your favorite, but you appreciate it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's what I kind of catch. When you went into the song Tonight, so this one sounded like a love song to rock and roll also. I love the 70s sound. It made me feel like an inspiration came from Earth, Wind, and Fire, Marvin Gaye, and Maxwell, which is my favorite artist, with a rock and roll twist.
Interesting. I like your analysis. It's my version of a love song, and the inspiration. You can say Earth, Wind, and Fire, but there's also some Crosby, Stills, and Nash in there. You know?
Yeah.
I'm a huge Crosby, Stills, and Nash fan.
Any Marvin Gaye and Maxwell in there?
No. At least in my perspective, no. But
Okay.
and I love both of those artists very much. But I wasn't thinking about neither one of them when I wrote or sang the song. But I'm glad that you made the comparison. I'm
What was
honored.
it about? What was that one about? Tonight? Was that a generalization, or did that come from a specific, like, Tonight I feel like
It came from a specific episode. What are you looking at?
Okay, so would you say I made this comparison before?
Yeah.
Would you say that Maxwell is this generation's Marvin Gaye?
Yeah. I've always liked Maxwell. He's pretty good. He's amazing. Great singer.
Underappreciated.
I agree. I never met him, but I've always loved his music.
I love his music.
Yeah, he's great.
I've been a fan of his music since '95. Urban Hang Suite, the very first one. I remember one of my friends actually turned me on to it.
Yeah.
Brings Me to the City. The highs and lows of LA.
Yep.
And its relationship with rock and roll.
Yep.
The necessary evils of rock and roll lifestyle.
Yep.
Leaving Chicago.
Yep. Yep. I'll take it. That's good. When I moved to Los Angeles, there was a short period where I did feel alone. Now, luckily, I mean, like, I was blessed when I moved here because I was already employed. I was already working for Chaka Khan, so I moved to Los Angeles automatically working. So, like, that was my window of opportunity. you know, she made it possible for me to come out here.
Mm-hmm.
But as you're going about life in the different networks, you know, you got people that have certain beliefs and people may view you a certain way, or you got all these pockets and these different cliques. And I've never been a cliquey type of person. You know, I like to speak with everyone and respect everyone, and I always do my best to get along with everyone. But, you know, in life, everybody's not going to like you. And if someone doesn't like you, there are times that they don't even know why they don't like you. They just don't want to talk to you or don't want to pull you in, or, you know, it could be any different situation. But, you know, it's just moments where when you try to get along, there are times that people don't want to get along with you because they're in their own thing or their own bubble. They got their own clique or club, and you're outside the club because we don't know you. You're new. We don't like your shirt. We don't like your boots. We don't like how that girl looked at you, or we don't like this or that. You know, or some people might try to find a reason to dislike you because that's just how it is. But, you know, that's life. You just got to keep rolling with it.
How long did it take you to write that song?
The City?
Yep.
Not long, actually.
Do you write the music to it, or you write the lyrics first?
Good question. It comes to me different ways. Sometimes I have the lyrics. Sometimes I just have the drum beat. But with that particular song, I had a little bit of both. I had the music and the lyrics. It was funny. Now, everybody's talking about Love. It was written in a half hour. But The City, I had the concept already. I had some of the music, some of the words, but I didn't have a bridge for a while until I finally got it. It took me, if my memory serves me correctly, it took me a week to write that song.
When you first wrote the lyrics, do you workshop it to people? Do you the reason why I had a guy named Mike Ganino. He's a Chicago guy.
Yeah.
And he was in improv, and then he started teaching keynote speakers because keynote speakers need to have a certain amount of improv to be able to connect with the audience.
Yeah.
So he was teaching through that, and he said that he generally has a concept, and then he'll workshop it. And he's like, that's what comedians do. They go on off nights, and then they just work a material and see how the... Did you do that? Do you do that with a song? Or do you just keep it internal?
It's a little of both. It depends. Now, early on, I had a friend that I used to work with all the time. We're still friends to this day. His name is Jonathan Hahn. And funny enough, he's the guy that officially taught me how to play guitar. He would come to my house in L.A. He's also from Chicago by way of Pennsylvania. But like he would come to the house and we would work on different things and write and all this stuff. And he would leave his guitars there when we were done jamming. He would leave the guitars there. So when he would go home, I'll keep jamming. Like I would pick up the guitar, 12-string, and just start fiddling around with it. But because he was around all the time, we were working on stuff together and working on ideas, bouncing off back and forth ideas. The 12-string guitar became a fixture with me. So like I first learned how to play guitar on a 12-string acoustic because he would bring it over. And it's one of my favorite instruments to this day, 12-string acoustic. His name is Jonathan Hahn. He's a musician, but he's also a computer guy. He writes code.
Wow.
And a hell of a guitar player. Go figure.
Yeah.
And a great guy.
And so you would run things. You would run things through him.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And kind of workshop that.
Exactly.
What about the title? Like, I went through this with my kids.
Okay.
And I found you never should share a name that you're thinking about naming your kid with other people. A couple reasons. One, they'll tell you about something bad of that name brings up, which kills the name for you. Or they'll tell you something they think is good that's actually bad to you.
Yeah.
Or they just go ahead and name their kid that, which is jacked up.
Yeah.
Do you workshop the title of the album to people to see, like...
Yes. Everything was bounced.
Who did you bounce that one off of?
Producer, of course, Alan Parsons. Jonathan Hahn, as I mentioned. And over time, there were certain musicians, you know, that I would talk to and have them listen to the tracks, you know, different episodes in different ways. You know, like after I lay down the concept, I would say, what do you think? It's normal, you know? And sometimes I don't ask for thoughts. You just do it.
You just do it.
Most of the time, I don't write with my brain. I write what I feel. And first things first, like I gotta like it. As long as I like it, it's what it is. You know, because if you're putting something out, like you gotta like it before the audience likes it. You know, that's all that matters. If you like it. And I think the audience is not gonna know what they're gonna like. As soon as they hear it, they'll know whether they like it or not. I think music is like food. It's taste. You know, you pick it up, you taste it, you either like it, or it's either okay, or you don't like it at all. Don't eat it again. I think music is the same way. Like you hear it, you feel it, you like it, you like it. It shouldn't be complicated. I mean, you know within a minute or so whether you like this song or not. On the other hand, there is music that is manufactured. On the other hand, because you can take the worst song in the world, but if you got a budget behind it and you put it out there and you got enough money to market it and people keep hearing it and hearing it and hearing it and hearing it and hearing it, and they hate the song, I hate the song, I hate this song, I hate this song, but if you keep hearing it and hearing it and hearing it, you're gonna like it. I've seen that happen many times. And it could be the most horrible music ever. But because they have someone behind it, pushing it, you get used to hearing it.
As a musician, would you choose to have a song or an album like that, that you had the budget behind it, that you got to push, and it was, I mean, you kind of liked it, whatever, but it got critical acclaim? Like, there's a lot of music that happens like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Would you, as an artist, rather have that or have something that you loved that never got critical acclaim?
Very good question, because, you know, everyone wants to be successful in music. You know, I'd rather be true to myself. And I've always been true to myself. I've always been a musician first. But there are plenty of aspects that I enjoy about being commercial. Everyone wants success, but at the end of the day, if you're not creating anything that doesn't feed your soul, your success eventually will feel hollow, I believe.
Would you be willing? I saw it happen with Nelly.
Okay.
Okay.
I met him, by the way. Nice guy.
and I love the genius of his music. I mean, when I say this, I'm not like a Nelly, like, oh, he's the greatest, anything like that. I love the process that he utilized, where he was with the St. Lunatics. That was his group. He went solo, and he went solo so he could gain a voice and then bring his people along. Although some of the thing, he went really commercial, which probably wasn't his first thought. Would you be willing to go commercial on one track to gain the audience, to be able to touch your stuff? And I think about it like a model, like a Eminem.
Yeah.
Most of Eminem's music is not what we hear from his hits. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it entices the person to be come in contact.
Yeah, I understand that, and I understand the business of that, and like it's okay, you know. At the end of the day, you should do what you feel. You know, like you got people that makes music for the audience. You have people that make music to feed their soul, and they don't care whether or not the audience like it. I mean, I want the audience to like my music, of course. You know, it's like, first and foremost, I wrote this album for me. It's up to you whether you like it or not. That's how I look at it. Simple. I like it. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, okay. I'll keep moving. You know?
I think from an audience perspective, I think that we like that more. I appreciate that more.
Yeah.
You know, because like when I hear it, when I heard it and I got a chance to be able to listen to it, it's amazing to because you feel it. Like I said, I mean, as I wrote down my notes,
I write from feel.
Yeah.
And that's what I have.
Yeah.
I'd rather write from feeling before I write from brain, you know. I didn't sit down and say, okay, I got to write a hit song. There are people that do that, and I respect that because that exists. Like there's a formula. I think I heard something some years back. Leor Cohen said something along the lines like, I can make your grandmother famous if he wanted to. And there's some truth to that. You can make anyone famous. You know, if you put them in a position, you pay for it and all that. But like, okay, at some point, where does the truth come in? Long term. Is it about your money? Is it about making money? And yes, making money is important. Is it about solely the money, or is it about your soul being happy? Because you can have a lot of money, but have nothing in your soul. Then who's really rich? You know? So I wrote from my own honesty, and if there's some commercial aspects of it to my album, fine, I accept it. You know, because I personally believe that music doesn't have to be complicated to be good. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just be honest, because if you're honest and you do your best and it's delivered properly, somebody's gonna love it. You know, if you're being your best you, somebody's gonna like it, whether it's a hit song or not. You know, yeah, you got marketing and all that stuff, but just be you. And that's what my album is. Like, I'm being me. It's how I sound. It's what's been happening inside of me. It's been my life experience, and I'm honored to share it with the world. And if you like it, thank you. If you don't like it, that's okay.
I think it's so cool, man. You know, because when you let me know about, like when we first started talking back and forth about you coming here to the studio, you told me about Royal Cadence, and you've showed me that. Like, I've experienced Royal Cadence in real time.
Thank you, sir.
The Royal Cadence is like when you listen to you all the way through, that's the cadence that it is. Right? It's amazing that way, and I love the fact that you did it because and you embody it. I haven't even asked you about Royal Cadence, but I've just been listening, and as I'm listening, it's like, okay, that makes sense. Oh, that's in line. Oh, that's in line. That's in line. That's in line. Most of the time, people need it to be broken down simple for them to understand at times, right? I work that way. You did it when you sent me the last email. I alluded to it earlier, but you talked about a lock system or lock method, but it wasn't just about drumming. It was just about life, But was that something that you just went and did? Because this is what it feels like. It feels like it's a life that you lived, and then a bunch of people started asking you, like, Franklin, how'd you do it? And you were like, well, I've just been doing it. But if you want me to stop for a second, now I can write it down. I love those type of theories because it's not like you sat in a lab and created a hit song based off all these little things. Yeah. The lock method, to me, tell me if I'm wrong, is just an embodiment of what your career and life has been. And now you can share it and have it cross genres. Is that?
It's a fact. That's accurate.
What does it stand for?
Lock, L-O-C-K. L stands for listening. O stands for observing. C stands for control and or comprehension. And K stands for knowledge of what you're doing. When I wrote this back in 2006, I want to say, I wrote it originally from a musical standpoint, but as I obviously analyzed it, I was doing this all along. It was my formula of learning and adapting to every musical situation I was in, only to find out that this is something that you could use throughout your life.
What is the C for?
Control.
So,
or comprehension.
So you're listening and observing.
Yes.
You're listening and observing. You're controlling it, or you get the comprehension of it, and then you add the knowledge to it.
Yes.
Bam.
Yeah.
And you use that kind of almost cadence, if you will.
Yeah.
Lack of a better word.
Yeah.
You use that cadence throughout because you were listening. Like when you went with Chaka Khan, you were listening.
Yeah.
You were observing.
Yeah.
You were comprehending or controlling in that, like you were controlling your environment on your mind and your spirit, everything like that. And then you were gaining unbelievable knowledge. Then when you go on to Lenny, or you go on to Stevie, you're doing that same thing. You go on to Lenny, and now you're listening not only to the songs that you're playing, but you're listening to the lifestyle that the person has. You're observing what's actually happening within inside of it.
Right.
You're getting the comprehension of all the things that are happening, and you'll be able to glean from the knowledge that everybody else has as opposed to you having to go through that experience.
Yeah. The way you live your life affects the way you play music. My professional career began playing with musicians that were much older than me. Like, I was in a lot of situations where I got thrown in the fire. You're either gonna keep up with these guys or not. And luckily I was able to keep up. So I learned a lot of stuff on the fly. So before anything, I had to listen, not play the stuff that I was learning in my basement, the practice room or whatever. I had to throw all of that out of the window and focus on what was going on around me, in front of me, behind me, to the right, to the left. I had to listen, had to look and listen to what was happening and respond to that accordingly. So it was no different than having a conversation. So first things first, before I play a note or when I start playing, listen to what's happening. Because if you're listening deep enough, the music is going to tell you what you should play, what kind of beat you should play, and what kind of dynamic you should play, how you should play it. Like how we're speaking together. You're speaking to me in a calm voice. Why should I yell at you right now? You're talking calm. So music is the same way. Dynamics, So before anything, listen.
Yeah.
And the rest will follow. It's going to tell you what it needs if you're a drummer or a musician that's listening. So obviously, listening, observing, controlling, comprehension, and knowledge goes way beyond music. It's life.
It's life.
It's business. It's relationships. It's a conversation.
Even in that genre, like you and I, as we're sitting and we were listening to each other, and I want to tell you how you make people feel seen. Like, this is unbelievable. Even just in the conversation when we were at sushi today, we're having that conversation, and we mentioned something that someone who we had in common, which was Karen, which is crazy, which is wild.
Small world.
Small world.
Her hair always looked nice. When I look back and think about her,
Her
hair was always nice.
Well, I remember her.
So now I know why.
Yeah, well,
because of you.
Well, it wasn't me. It was one of the crew that worked with us, and
yeah,
she was she was just such a nice person. I remember the young lady that worked with her and took care of her hair.
Yeah,
she knew that I was a big Lenny fan, and then she was like, "Oh, well, And Karen was just so gracious, and we actually went to, did we figure out what the club was called in Vegas at the Cosmopolitan? I keep wanting to say the Pearl, but that's at the Palm.
Okay.
That's at the Palm. Something else.
But I remember staying at the Cosmopolitan. I keep wanting to
say like the Henry or something like that.
Yeah.
But we went, and Karen had made sure that we were treated really well to go see to go see everybody, go see play. So which was cool, because what year that actually we went and saw you.
Yeah, I was around.
You were there.
Mm-hmm.
You were playing at that time, which is nuts, man. I mean. And I think it comes back to the fact that you never know where someone's from. You never know where they're going. Never know where to meet up with them again.
Exactly.
Make a friend.
Exactly.
Out of everyone. What do you want this album to accomplish?
I want to touch the hearts and souls of as many people as possible, and I want people to understand that my delivery is honest. And if there's something that you can take away from my album that will make your life better, I've done my job. Mm-hmm. And I got a lot more for you. It's just the beginning. As you go, when you're done, like I heard this from a guy. He said, as a comedian, when he does his 1 hour special, it means he's retiring that material in his head. When you do an album, obviously there's a tour afterwards, or there's performances afterwards, but as an artist, have you retired that and you're already moving on to writing new, or are you still working on that album? The album I have now? Yeah, so the album is done. Yeah, great question. In my head, I retired the album, and yes, I've just begun to work on brand new songs. But as this upcoming album starts getting noticed and listened to, as long as the demand is there, I look forward to singing it 100,000 times. Mm. So if the people love it, I'll be extremely honored, and I will definitely go out and sing it. In rock and roll, why isn't there more collaborations? When I say this, like you say, like hip hop, even country nowadays, because a lot of times country, I remember, I can't remember who was the first to do it. We were talking about Nelly. Nelly was one of the first people to do hip hop and country together. Mm-hmm. And there's always features now. Like hip hop is notorious for features and bringing in a person. Why isn't that a thing in rock and roll? I don't hear that as much as far as like a person guesting on a song or whatever it is. Is that not part of the culture of rock and roll? I don't know. I'm not sure if I can even answer that. I think there have been some collaborations, but I don't know. maybe it's because it's such a personal thing. Maybe like I'm a huge hip hop fan. I listen to a lot of hip hop, but I don't think it's entirely like rock and roll because there's little to no sampling going on in rock and roll. It's all pure, you know. But I think it should be some collaborations as long as the individual want to collaborate. But you know, to each his own.
Who would you want to collaborate with? If you had, like, say, next album or next song that you're working on, is there anyone out there that you would say, like, I was talking to Alvin Taylor, and I said, Alvin, who would you like to collaborate with? His was different. It came out of left field. I didn't even.
What did he say?
Who'd you think? So Alvin Taylor played with Little Richard.
Right.
Played with Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, he's a legend.
Played
man.
with Billy Preston.
Yeah.
Opened for Elvis.
Yeah.
Played with Motown. And when I heard who he wanted to collaborate with, I was like,
What did he say?
Doja Cat.
Fantastic. You know who I want to collaborate with? SZA. I love that girl's voice. I never met her, but the first time I heard her voice, I was like, oh my God, who is this singing? This girl has a beautiful voice. She has that thing like Chaka Khan has, that sparkle or magic tingle thing or whatever you call it. It's something happening in her voice that's so beautiful. I almost can't describe it. She's a singer, yes, but she's doing more than singing. Like there's something else going on with the depth of her singing, and it's absolutely beautiful. Like I feel every word every time she sings. I love SZA's singing. I would love to collaborate with her. There's others I would like to collaborate with, but she's the first one I thought about.
If she heard, like, say she was in the studio, and drums are there, your drums are there because you're going to play your drums. Is she walking out of there not wanting to collaborate with you?
She would want to collaborate with me, of course. Stop it.
Now, will you come back? Will you come back? Will you be on the show again?
Absolutely.
Easy
Absolutely.
stuff.
Yes, sir.
Easy stuff.
Yeah.
Easy stuff. What do you want to say to your mom and pops that they don't hear enough?
I'll be home soon.
Hey, I started the podcast because originally I didn't want my kids to worship idols. I just wanted them to be inspired by icons.
Yeah.
And I wanted their heroes to be human.
Yeah.
You're a hero of mine, and you became human. You've become human, and I'm going to force you to be my friend for the rest of your life.
You don't have to force. We're there.
So
We're there.
Maddox and McKenna are my son and daughter. Maddox is 14, about to be 15.
Yeah.
McKenna is 17.
Yeah.
And she's in the arts, singing, dancing, stuff like that. Maddox plays sports, and he's just a cartoon character. He's a guy. I mean, he's great at everything he touches. What advice would you have for Maddox and McKenna? And if you could use both their names, it would be awesome.
Madison and McKenna.
Maddox,
excuse me.
McKenna, yeah.
Maddox and McKenna. Be your best you. Be your best you. Don't try to be like someone else. Be your best you.
Simple. Music doesn't have to be complicated.
No.
It just needs to be simple.
Yeah.
You need
It
to
just
feel
needs to
it.
be true.
It needs to feel it.
Be your best true self. And no matter what you're doing and no matter what actions you're making, be your best you. Because that always follows. And people remember that impression. Be your best you, your best self.
You're the man.
You're the man.
You're the man. You're the man. There's the commercial.
Yeah.
There's the
Yeah, and this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small grooves into launchpad flights. Yeah, this the vibe that raised us, made us, saved us. Love so strong that the hard times praised us. From base life roots to the freeway nights, we turn small rooms into launchpad.